NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
The best amateur players in women's golf will compete in the Augusta National Women's Amateur.
Lottie Woad, there's your winner of the Augusta National Women's Amateur.
SiriusXM is your exclusive home for this premier event in the world of golf.
You know, contending on the back nine at Augusta is pretty cool.
Hear the Augusta National Women's Amateur this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern on PGA Tour Radio Channel 92. Then on Monday, Masters Radio returns on Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck. That has never changed. In fact, this show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
With the first pick, the Tennessee Titans select.
We caught up with the top prospects as they get ready to start their careers in the NFL.
Miami Hurricane quarterback Cam Ward.
My journey's been unbelievable.
And hear pick-by-pick coverage of the 2025 Draft from Green Bay starting April 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
This slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone. Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw.
In time on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays take on the Washington Nationals today, having won 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5, and more importantly, 2 games out of 2 in this series. Welcome to Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer today, Derek Brandeo, Tom Young, Christian Chiniti, our technical directors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Ajax, Whitby, and Oshawa. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Easton Lucas takes the hill for the Blue Jays today, making his first start in the major leagues, and he'll have a tough matchup. It's the ace of the staff for the Nationals, their opening day starter, Mackenzie Gore, who has had one of the standout starts of the season. The Blue Jays and Nationals have first pitch. Coming up next, we'll have lineup standings and a whole lot more on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart, locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project.
Hey, baseball fans, Blue Jays fans from all over the world. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, whatever time it may be, all over the world where you're watching. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please take the time to help us get more fans here in the chat. And how do you do that? You hit the like button, exit out of the chat, smash that like button, and then click the share and send it out to all your friends that are Blue Jays fans on social media. We'll get more and more Blue Jays fans coming into the chat, and then YouTube will send us out even more because they see everybody coming in from those shared links. We'll see you back in the chat. Go, Jays, go. Come on, Vladdy and Bo and the rest of the Jays. It's time to get winning.
Yes. Got him out in front on the changeup, 1-1.
It's interesting just watching him. He seems like he's a starter. You know how there's bullpen guys that look like bullpen arms and then starters that look like starters? He looks like a starter.
The 1-1. Swing and a pop-up behind the plate. Heineman did a full 360 looking for it, but he'll make the catch. Headed toward the Blue Jays' third base dugout, 2 outs.
And what I mean by that is just the mechanics, the delivery, the smooth delivery, the fastball. He just looks like a starter to me. Maybe the Blue Jays are onto something here.
Perhaps that's why they really wanted to bring him in. Picked him up late last season before he made his 2 appearances with Toronto. He was claimed off waivers on August 19th. Dominated with Buffalo in his near 20 innings with the Bisons, a little as a starter, a little as a reliever. He deals to Keibert Ruiz. First pitch hit in the air, foul to the right, 0-1. Two-thirds of Lucas's pitches so far have been in the zone, 8 strikes to 4 balls. Set just above the belt, ahead in the count. Lucas twists and deals. Fouled off again, 0-2.
Good pitch, 94 at the top of that strike zone. Now you can really do anything. In an 0-2 count to a pretty good hitter, you have to elevate, you have to bury something. I'm sure Easton Lucas knows that, though.
The pretty good hitter is Keibert Ruiz, a switch hitter batting from the right side, who's 7 for 17 to begin his season. He knocked in both of the Nationals' runs yesterday. Or pardon me, 2 of the 3. The 0-2. Swing and a liner just past the reach of Bichette and into left field for a base hit. Went with the cutter on the inner half, and Ruiz got inside of it for the first Nationals hit of the day.
You could actually see Tyler Heineman set up almost on the dirt with that target. And that cutter was up and in, not enough off the plate. Keibert Ruiz was able to get that barrel to it and hammered that thing into left field. Again, 0-2 count, good hitter. You have to expand the strike zone, throw something out of the strike zone, and Easton Lucas missed right there.
So now he'll deal with a runner on first. James Wood at the plate. First pitch, called strike. Another left-on-left matchup for Lucas. He'll have 3 of them in this start. 3 lefty hitters, 2 switch hitters, 4 right-handed hitters. The 0-1. Fouled off to the left, and again, Lucas quickly ahead. It's 0-2.
You could see him shaking, nodding that head. Easton Lucas likes that pitch that he just threw there. I hopefully he's learned his lesson. It's another 0-2 count. Now you have to expand.
Heineman sets up away. The 0-2 is poked on the ground to first, speared on a hop by Guerrero. He'll go to the bag and end the inning. Nice first inning of work for Easton Lucas. No runs, a hit, 1 left, no score. Middle of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
At Bet365, must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hey, this is Kevin Gosman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
First inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. No score Blue Jays and Nationals. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Bo Bichette will lead it off for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the first against left-hander Mackenzie Gore. Into the wind. Gore kicks and delivers. Misses up top at 94, ball one. What a fantastic season debut for Mackenzie Gore. On opening day, he took on and shut down the Philadelphia Phillies. The 1-0. Swing and a deep drive right center field. Dylan Cruz into the gap, making the call for it, and he'll make the catch. 1 out. If he didn't catch that Gore debut, he went 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 13 strikeouts against the Phillies.
Yeah, the most impressive thing about that outing is the no walks. It's really tough to have 13 strikeouts to 0 walks. He's a really good young pitcher.
Hard throwing lefty starter looks in at Vlad Guerrero Jr. The pitch. Foul tip, 0-1. No score, bottom of the first, 1 out, the base is empty. Gore's got a 4-seamer curve, slider, and change. The 0-1. Swinging bunt, third base side, makes a left turn foul, 0-2. Guerrero 5 for 23 to start the season. 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, 3 walks. 2-strike pitch. Check swing on a breaking ball low. Appeal down to first, no swing. Home plate ump today, Derek Thomas. Mike Estabrook said no swing on the appeal to first. Eric Backus at second, and crew chief Laz Diaz at third. The 1-2. Outside with a heater, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good job from Vlad. That's a pitch that he's been offering at early on this season. That fastball, that off-speed pitch just off the plate outside. He's able to keep the bat back there.
Gore leading forward, now slowly gets into his windup. The 2-2. Swing and a line drive right field. Freezes call for a moment, but it settles into his glove. Hit it right at him. And there are 2 down.
That's a good sign there. If Vlad can start going the other way on those tough fastballs, those tough breaking balls on the outside part of the plate, he's going to start getting hits. He's going to start getting them in bunches. That one right there was absolutely smashed to right field.
Guerrero set down, though, walking back into the Blue Jays' third base dugout. With 2 outs and the bases empty, switch hitter Anthony Santander bats from the right side. The pitch. Called strike. Mackenzie Gore looking comfortable so far. The 3rd overall pick in 2017. 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
That's a big breaking ball. I've heard a lot about that slider that he has, but that breaking ball, that curve ball, heck, that's a good one. That was 83 miles an hour and had a ton of break on it.
Gore's 0-2. Fastball just missed, up and away. Curveball was his most effective pitch last year. If you look at the batting average, only .218 average allowed, and he didn't give up a single home run on the curve. The 1-2. Santander pokes it foul, just got to 96. Gore, for a couple years, was one of the top prospects, if not the top pitching prospect in the game, after the Padres took him 3rd overall at a high school in North Carolina. Debuted for San Diego in April 2022. The 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. His career had been a little up and down until last year put together a nice season. 3.90 ERA and over 166 innings. Now Santander swings and shoots a ball to left field for a base hit. Bouncing toward the corner. Santander taking off for second. The throw skips in. Not in time. James Wood's throw is late, and Anthony Santander has his first extra base hit as a Blue Jay.
How about Anthony Santander smacking that good curveball from Mackenzie Gore down the left field line? I'll tell you what, Santander looked pretty good rounding first base. He's got sneaky speed.
Yeah, he was moving well. Wood cut it off before the wall. So it was not a guaranteed double, but he gets into scoring position with 2 outs for Andres Jimenez. The only left-on-left matchup Gore will have today, the pitch. Low ball 1. For what it's worth, Chris, StatCast does not say that Anthony Santander is very fast, but that's last year.
He looks fast. How about that?
He's leading off second, the 1-0. Swing and a miss.
Maximum effort. Doesn't that count for something?
I think it counts for a lot. Nice start to the year for Andres Jimenez. 7 for 22, a .318 average, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 5 RBIs in 6 games. The 1-1. Chop to the right side, foul, 1-2. Blue Jays put their other 3 left-handed hitters on the bench today. Alan Roden, Nathan Lucas, and Will Wagner. 2 switch hitters, Santander and Tyler Heineman. Then there's Jimenez and 6 right-handed hitters. The 1-2. Swing and a line drive into right field, a base hit. Santander getting the wave. Calls throw to the plate. Is not in time. Santander dives in head first. Jimenez up to second. It's an RBI single, and it's 1-0 Blue Jays.
I'm calling StatCast because he was absolutely motoring around third base. Anthony Santander with the head first slide into home plate, and the Blue Jays are up 1-0 in this ballgame.
Andres Jimenez just continues to deliver. Found a slider up near the belt that he liked. Put it right in between Rosario at second and Lowe at first, and it's an early Toronto advantage.
Well, if there's one left-handed hitter that you want in this lineup, it's Andres Jimenez. He continues to swing the bat well, seeing the ball up, and just hammered that thing into right field. What a swing.
He replaces Santander on second, and the very hot George Springer comes up to the plate. 8 for 18 to start his year. Gore looks at second. From the stretch, the pitch. Hit foul off to the right, 0-1.
And just like that, Mackenzie Gore has given up more hits and more runs than he had in his previous start against the Phillies.
Phillies, pretty good ball club. High expectations for them this year. It's going to be a tough one to live up to for Gore. Turn and throw to second base. Jimenez spotted Rosario, his former teammate, sneaking in, and he dives back in.
13 strikeouts, no walks, 1 hit. Good luck.
You do that once in a season, you're pretty happy. He just happened to do it day one. Southpaw set at the belt. Jimenez on second, 2 down. The pitch. Down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carlos Fablis, the Blue Jays third base coach, facing away from the plate, getting ready to direct Jimenez on a Springer base hit. The 1-1. Fouled off to the right, 1-2. Blue Jays have scored first in all 3 games in this series after the RBI single by Jimenez. Next pitch inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a good take. That fastball from Mackenzie Gore was 96, in on the plate, in off the plate, about a ball. George Springer was able to lay off that thing.
The 2-2. Jimenez takes off for third, and the pitch fouled back. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little unconventional to see a guy take off for third base with 2 outs, but Andres Jimenez got a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think you have to be almost 100% sure that you can make it. Andres Jimenez, obviously with good speed. He's a good base runner, so I trust him out there.
Had to go back to second after the foul ball. Long inning for Gore, his 23rd pitch. Called strike 3. Really nice breaking ball on the inside corner to get Springer and end the inning. The Blue Jays on the board, though. They get a run on 2 hits after the Santander double and Andres Jimenez single, and it's 1-0 Toronto going to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Get closer to the artists you love on the SiriusXM app. From 24/7 channels dedicated to icons like the Beatles, Bruce Springsteen, and the Grateful Dead, to ones hosted by stars like John Mayer, Carrie Underwood, and Kelly Clarkson. Explore the songs, stories, and inside access to artists you won't find anywhere else. Plus, exclusive shows, interviews, full concerts, and more. Just search Artist Channels in the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go, hey, Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
What a game.
March Madness is down to the Final Four.
Cooper Flag brings the hammer down.
And SiriusXM's College Sports Radio will be in San Antonio, getting you closer to the action.
What a shot by Walter Clayton.
Hear from the coaches and players during our exclusive pre- and post-game shows and expert analysis of the matchups.
Can it get any better than 4 1 seeds?
On-site coverage of the Final Four begins Thursday on College Sports Radio, Channel 84 in your car and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the second. Easton Lucas to Nathaniel Lowe, and the first pitch hit foul, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman. My left is Chris LaRue. Lucas looked solid in his first inning. Gave up a 2-out single. That was all. He goes left on left with Lowe, the 0-1. Down and away.
Technically, he really shouldn't have given up that single if he made a better pitch. He was an 0-2 count, left a little cutter over the middle of the plate, but he's looked great so far.
Here's 1-1. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. A rare time thus far that he's fallen behind a hitter. Lucas kicks and deals. This is down and away, ball 3.
Nodding his head. He liked that pitch. I like that pitch too. Maybe not 2-1. Maybe that's a 1-1 type of pitch or a 1-2 type of pitch, but I still like the break on it.
Tyler Heineman sets up just away. The 3-1. Swing and a miss. Hit the glove with the fastball there, 3-2. John Schneider called it a good, sneaky fastball from Easton Lucas today. And mentioned that when the changeup is working for him, which he won't throw it to a left-handed hitter much like Lowe, but when it is, he can be really good. The payoff pitch. Check swing roller foul. A bit of a break there for Lucas. The at-bat stays alive.
Still a good pitch, though. That's actually where they were trying to go. Maybe not perfect location, but they were trying to come up and in and tie up Nathaniel Lowe. Lowe's a big guy, likes to get those arms extended.
Another payoff. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout in the start for Easton Lucas, 1 down.
You can almost tell with that swing from Nathaniel Lowe, he was thinking there's no way they come back with another fastball. They've thrown 2 in a row. And then sure enough, that sneaky fastball just blows it by him, 93 miles an hour.
The savvy and game calling, part of Tyler Heineman's case to be on this ball club, and he made it on opening day as the backup catcher. And hey, if he provides you with a little pop and a bat flip too.
I was going to say, and the power.
Bonus. Speaking of power, Josh Bell up to the plate, switch hitter bats right. Lucas deals. Outside ball 1.
And even though Josh Bell is only 1 for 19 this season, he is a big guy. He does have a ton of power. You can't just leave one over the middle for him.
172 career home runs for Josh Bell. The 1-0. Called strike.
Great pitch. I always say a 3-2 changeup is the best pitch in baseball. A 1-0 changeup's pretty good too.
Because the guy's really sitting fastball?
Yep. Geared up for that fastball.
The 1-1 in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike as he missed going back to the changeup.
You know what's better than a 1-0 changeup?
2-1 changeup?
A 2-0 changeup.
Okay. That's a big gamble, though.
Yeah, that's a huge gamble.
The 2-1. Ground ball hit back to the mound. Backhanded play by Lucas. He'll underhand flip to Guerrero. 2 outs.
Josh Bell just does not look good. Another uncomfortable swing on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Inner third, a pitch that he normally handles really well. But I don't know if it's Josh Bell. I don't know if it's that sneaky nature of the fastball. But just kind of a half swing back to the pitcher's mound.
It's been a tough start to the year for Bell. Now 1 for 20. Good start for Alex Cole, though. He's at the plate now, made his debut yesterday, and came up with a pair of hits, including a double. The pitch. Inside, ball 1. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the second. 2 outs and the bases empty, and the corners are pinched in for Toronto. The 1-0. Just inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Lucas sets, kicks, and fires. That one hit in the air down the right field line. Pretty shallow. Long run for Guerrero, and that one's going to land down foul. That'll move the count to 2-2. 2-1.
Andres Jimenez and Vlad are taking their time. They had to run a long way down that right field line. There we go.
The pitch clock hadn't turned on yet, so you can be a little more lackadaisical until they get that going. 2-1 pitch. Hit to right field in the air. This one should be playable for Santander. Racing toward foul territory. He makes the catch fair and ends the inning. 6 of 7 retired so far for Easton Lucas. 1-0 Blue Jays. Middle of 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer started right, coming in, leaps and makes the catch full stretch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the second inning. Welcome back to Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 1-0 Blue Jays. Ernie Clement leading off, and Mackenzie Gore's pitch. High and outside, ball 1. Clement, Schneider, Heineman for the Blue Jays. 6, 7, 8 in a righty-heavy Toronto lineup. The 1-0. Outside, 2-0. Two hits to score a run last inning for the Blue Jays. The Santander 2-out double, and then the Jimenez single. 2-0 pitch down and in. 3 balls and no strikes. It's pretty rare to walk Ernie Clement. The 3-0. Ball 4 just off the plate outside, and Clement will take a 4-pitch walk.
Yeah, I don't know if he had the green light there, 3-0, but that was a tough pitch. It kind of looked like he didn't have the he had the green light though, because he kind of flinched at it like he wanted to swing at it. Nevertheless, a good take from Ernie Clement.
His second walk of the year. He walked only 11 times in about 450 plate appearances last year. Davis Schneider up, the pitch. Called strike. Schneider 0 for 5 to begin his season, 2 walks. This is his second start of the year.
After that pitch from Gore, you could see the frustration on Davis Schneider's face. Come on, man, you just threw 4 straight balls, and you throw me a cookie right down the middle.
The 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good take there.
Schneider hasn't been in much because this is the first left-handed starter the Blue Jays have faced this season. Next pitch, up and away, 2 balls and 1 strike. Davis's lone start came on Saturday, game 3 of the season, against Dean Kramer for the Orioles. The 2-1. Swing and a fly ball, shallow left center. Cruz coming in, steps in front of Wood to make the catch. 1 out.
Tough fastball there from Gore. That's the fastball that he really has success with. Inside 96, ties up Davis Schneider. You could tell that he really wanted to get those arms extended, but just couldn't with that good fastball.
So Gore with his first out of the inning, getting Schneider, and now with a runner on first, switch hitter Tyler Heineman bats from the right side.
It's your guy, Tyler Heineman.
Power hitter. Second start of the year for Heineman, a throw over to first, Clement back standing. Heineman hit his second career home run in his first start of the year. Hit it from the right side against CNL Perez, left-handed reliever for the Orioles. In theory, the right side is the less powerful side for Heineman. The pitch, he squares to bunt, and it's a good one down the third baseline. That'll be a bunt single for Heineman. Up to second goes Clement. Stay hot for Tyler Heineman. First and second, 1 out.
Well, it's really difficult to get a good bunt down on a fastball that has a ton of life. Mid-90s, but guess what? That was a changeup. No easier pitch to get a bunt down than a changeup right down the middle. Tyler Heineman with the perfect bunt.
It's been a bunting series for the Blue Jays. They bunted 3 times yesterday. And now another one today. The pitch to Miles Straw, called strike. I asked John Schneider about that today. He admitted he's not a huge fan of bunting in general, but they have a couple guys who can do it, and there were certain situations that came up yesterday that really warranted a bunt. And so they did it. The 0-1. Foul tip, 0-2.
Well, the Nationals were obviously respecting the big power of Tyler Heineman, so why not throw one down?
When Washington yesterday, in a way, messed up 2 different bunt plays. An error by a pitcher and then a wheel play that didn't exactly work the way they drew it up. Turn and look at second. Clement jogs back. No one was covering the back. On the wheel play, they got an out at first on the Ernie Clement sacrifice, but they probably easily could have got the lead runner at third. Next pitch to Straw is down and away, ball 1. Schneider also said, and maybe this leans toward more bunting, that teams aren't as good at it as they used to be because bunts barely happen. You run it in spring, you run it sometimes before a game, but you rarely do it in game. 1-2 pitch in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Can you bunt with the Toledo bat?
With the torpedo bat?
I know you said Toledo bat yesterday.
I thought I said turbo bat. I said Toledo.
Whatever you said.
Toledo bat would be
whatever. It wasn't correct. That's all I know.
Can you? But maybe it's easier to bunt. Bigger barrel. I don't know. The 2-2. Swing and a deep drive. Right center field. Cruz angling back to the warning track, and he reaches out and drops the ball. Banged into the fence, and the ball spilled away. Coming to the plate is Clement, and he's out. He pointed to the Blue Jay dugout to take a look. Straw on second, and Heineman on third. What a weird play. It looked like Cruz had made a leaping catch, but as he banged into the wall, it fell away. Heineman was stuck in between second and third as the runner Straw was right behind him. Clement dashed for the plate. The relay throw from Rosario was good.
Home plate.
But as you can hear, the Blue Jays are going to take a look at that one.
Well, as Ernie Clement was getting up from his slide, and he saw that Derek Thomas was calling him out at home plate, you could see he was adamant that he got that left arm in there before Keibert Ruiz tagged him, and we're about to see a slow motion replay, so I don't really have an opinion yet, but when Ernie Clement is that adamant, you know something's up.
It's just a weird play. Clement, like everyone, had to stop for a moment because he thought the ball was caught, and he started going back the other way. If he runs the whole time, he easily makes it. We're getting some looks right now. It is tough to see, and as we had talked about yesterday, the call on the field is so important, and the call on the field is out, so they'll need to be 100% sure that Clement is safe. He might be.
But again, if the call on the field is out, it's tough to reverse. There has to be definitive evidence.
The question really is, did Ruiz get Clement's left arm, the closer arm to the catcher, as he swiped across with the tag? If he did touch his arm, then he is out. The ball was there in time. If he missed it and only got him in the face, then that arm was in there in time.
It looked like Keibert Ruiz missed his hand as Ernie Clement was sliding by, and then he might have got the forearm with the glove. That's just my opinion, though.
It's really close. It's the difference between 2-0 and 1 out, or 1-0 and 2 outs. It'll be runners on second and third either way.
I think he's safe if the call on the field was safe. But I think the call will stand just because the call on the field is out.
Well, they're taking some looks at it in New York right now, a longer review.
Well, John Schneider has a big smile on his face. I don't know what that means, but he does have a big smile on his face.
Clement making safe signs from the dugout, trying to plead his case to Laz Diaz, who is waiting word here from the replay review center.
I don't think the players know that the umpires on the field are actually making the call right now.
That they aren't.
They aren't making the call.
They probably do. I think Ernie's just messing with him. Again, though, just to recap, an odd play. Long run for Cruz. He jumped up, but mostly sideways into the wall. Appeared to have it, and then the ball squirted out of his glove and down onto the track.
Runners out.
And the call stands there. So Ernie Clement is out on a relay.
The call is runners out. Challenge.
2 tries with the microphone there for Laz Diaz. And by the way, Max Scherzer on the top step, incensed at that call, slammed his right hand on the top of the dugout fence. But the relay went Cruz to Ahmed Rosario to Ruiz, 8-4-2. And so Clement is thrown out. Second and third, still 1-0 Blue Jays. 2 outs, and Bo Bichette to the plate. The pitch. Swing and a line drive. Left center field. Cruz on the run. Dives. Did he make the catch? He did. And that'll end the inning. Cruz made that one flying into the air. And twice the Nationals defense takes away runs from the Blue Jays to keep it 1-0. We go to the third inning at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter night mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today during the Toronto Blue Jays game against the Washington Nationals. Please take a second to hit that link that you see in the description called the Live Viewers to find out where all of the Toronto Blue Jays fans from around the world are hanging out with us, cheering on the Toronto Blue Jays this season. We'll try and get it out in the chat as well. Please take a look and click that and see how many places everybody's watching from over the time of some of the Bracket Mania campaigns with the March Madness campaigns, as well as the Toronto Maple Leafs games. Put your location on the map by clicking that link, and we'll see you back in the chat. Go Jays, go!
Absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. Third home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays 1, Nationals nothing as we get going in the top of the third at Rogers Center. Easton Lucas on the hill. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Lefty deals to Paul DeYoung. First pitch strike, 0-1. DeYoung, the number 8 hitter in the national lineup today. Third baseman, the 0-1. High and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Coming off a 24 homer season split between the White Sox and Royals. Nationals picked up DeYoung on a 1-year, $1 million deal. 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1.
I'd say that's a pretty good bargain for a guy that just hit 24 homers and can play a little bit of defense.
Yeah, especially at third, he figures to be a plus defender. Already was for much of his career at short. The 2-1. High and outside, ball 3.
Now, you can't walk the leadoff guy. You have to come back with something in the strike zone here. Easton Lucas knows that, though.
He kicks and delivers. And he just missed inside, ball 4. Pretty close, but called off the plate by Derek Thomas.
We've seen that so many times already this season where a catcher is set up on one side of the plate, the pitcher throws it to the other side of the plate, and it's called a ball, but it's only because the catcher has to reach across the plate. Similar situation there.
So a runner on first, nobody out. Dylan Cruz up, and the pitch. Low ball 1. Cruz, the center fielder today, had played game 1 in right and sat yesterday. Still looking for his first hit of the year, 0 for 15. Left on right pitch. Swinging a line drive. Blocked ankle high by Bichette. He'll throw it to second for 1, and that's all they'll get. Cruz never stopped running, so he got down to first base. He hit that ball hard, but the Blue Jays get the lead runner on a fielder's choice.
Yeah, that ball was hit really hard, but if you're Easton Lucas, you take that, no problem. Now you try to get a ground ball. Actually, it's really tough to double up C.J. Abrams, a guy with a ton of speed.
Yeah, you need it tailor-made to get C.J. Abrams. Left-handed, top of the order hitter, flied out to right in the first. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball.
I'm still wondering why Max Scherzer was so upset about that call. Those guys have to know that if the call in the field is out and there's not definitive evidence, they're not going to change it.
Heat of the moment.
I guess.
The 1-0. Swinging a ground ball to second base, picked up by Jimenez, throws to second for one. That's the only out they'll get, but they cut down the lead runner on a fielder's choice by Abrams, 2 outs.
Andres Jimenez is so good at going in the hole on the right side of that infield and turning his body and throwing back to second base. Not many second basemen are really comfortable doing that, but he's one of the best.
He almost jumps to switch his feet from facing one way to the other way. And he keeps a runner out of scoring position there when nearly no other second baseman in baseball could pull off that play. Step and throw to first. Abrams sprints back to the bag. 2 stolen bases already this season for C.J. Abrams, and Ahmed Rosario up to the plate now with 2 outs. The pitch from Lucas. Swing and a miss. Mentioned the contract of Paul DeYoung. The Nats were trying to bring in some short-term deal veterans this year, and one of the guys they went with as well was Ahmed Rosario. Super utility at this point in his career. Can play almost any position on the field. The 0-1. Bounce to the plate. Good pick by Heineman on the forehand side. Keeps Abrams at first. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ahmed Rosario was another guy that was underpaid last year. I think 1 year, $1.4 million he got.
Yeah, the Rays picked him up late. Put together a nice season. Traded away from the Rays over to the Dodgers. The 1-1. High and outside, 2-1. And then this year signed a 1-year, $2 million contract with the Nationals in early January.
Even that seems low.
The 2-1. Hit foul off to the right, 2-2.
Really good pitch. 94 miles an hour on the outside part. And now in a 2-2 count, you can really throw whatever you want here. I'd flip in a changeup, but Easton Lucas, that fastball is really looking good right now.
2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs, a runner on first. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the 3rd. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball out to right field. Racing back, now moving in. Santander makes an underhanded catch and ends the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 left for the Nationals. 3 scoreless for Easton Lucas. It's 1-0 Blue Jays, middle of the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Did you know you can get home and away feeds for every MLB, NHL, and NBA game on your phone?
3 for the win. He got it!
Every game, all season. It's all on the SiriusXM app.
It's out of here!
Sports, the way they're meant to be heard.
Cheers, baseball fans. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, chatting it up, having a good time, keeping it classy while we cheer on our Toronto Blue Jays this 2025 season. Please take a look at the link that is pinned in the chat for the SickKids Bracket Mania campaign that we are running through the March Madness tournament, which is almost over. The Final Four is coming up, and we are going to have a lot of fun celebrating whoever wins those matchups to take home the title, cutting down the nets at the Final Four in San Antonio. We appreciate you being here, baseball fans. I just wanted to give a big shout out to the mods as well for their work in the chats, especially with the Bracket Mania campaign. We really appreciate you knocking out all those bots that are so annoying and messing up our chat while we're trying to just chat it up and keep it classy. Wrenches, you rock. We'll see you back in the chat. Let's go, Blue Jays!
The 3rd inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Ajax, Whitby, and Oshawa. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Bottom of the 3rd, 1-0 Blue Jays. The pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. in the dirt. Ball 1. Vlad lined a ball 100 miles an hour off the bat to right field in the first, but got nothing for it. He's 0 for 1 with a lineup. The 1-0. Hit foul off to the right behind home plate, 1-1.
Tough pitch, 96, just tied him up at the top of the strike zone. That's not really what you're looking for if you're ahead in the count, 1-0. Vlad knows that. Vlad kind of tilting his head a little bit. Probably should have taken that pitch.
The 1-1. Hit foul off to the right again, 1-2. Limited sample, but Vlad should be as comfortable as any against Mackenzie Gore. 3 for 5 against him in his career, including last year he hit a grand slam at Washington off of Mackenzie Gore, his 5th career. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Caught him on a good changeup for the first out.
That's a great changeup. Again, the arm speed is the most important thing when throwing a good changeup. And that one right there looked like a fastball. Mackenzie Gore throws that thing right down the middle, and Vlad was way out in front of it.
Second strikeout of the day for Gore, both of them on changeups. And now he'll deal with Anthony Santander, batting right with 1 out. The pitch. Line to left field and caught by Wood. Right at the edge of his glove, 2 down.
Well, that's a good sign for Anthony Santander. A double earlier on in the ball game, and then he absolutely rips that ball to left field. He's starting to see the ball just a little bit better.
That's Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Timber Mart stores are family owned and operated and know the value in giving back to the communities they serve. Now more than ever, it's important to shop local. Timber Mart, locally owned, proudly Canadian. 2 out, space is empty. Left on left pitch to Andres Jimenez. Called strike right at the top of that strike zone. It's 0-1. Jimenez, the difference in the game. His RBI single has the Blue Jays up 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. 0-1. Fouled right back just below our feet. Your heart rate get going?
There's a sweat bead dripping down my forehead right now. That was too close for comfort.
I actually... Off air, I promised you gloves at some point. I'll have next homestand. I'm a lefty, so I'll have my glove in here. I don't think I have a glove.
You should bring me a Pat Venditti one. You could use it. I could use it.
Right, yeah, a little back and forth. The 0-2. Up and in, ball 1. They'll be calling it a Jair Jurgens glove soon. Pitcher for Seattle in the minors who does the same thing. 1-2. Swing and a soft bouncer to first base. Fielded way off the bag by Lowe. Flips back to Gore, and that'll do it for the inning. Mackenzie Gore sets down the Blue Jays in order. We go to the 4th. 1-0 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports Grid Radio is covering the lines on...
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you, the baseball fan hanging out with us, most preferably a Toronto Blue Jays fan, hanging out with us here at the best live hangout every single game on Toronto Sports Insider. Attention Blue Jays fans, if you are looking for wall-to-wall coverage of every single Toronto Blue Jays game, this season, you're at the right place. Real-time reactions, game breakdowns, and all the latest news on our Blue Jays. We're covering every pitch, every home run, every big moment all season long, and we want you here for the ride. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a game, and plus, join in on our live chat streams. Let's make this a Blue Jays season to remember. Go Blue Jays, go. We'll see you in the chat.
Hear from the coaches and players during our exclusive pre- and post-game shows and expert analysis of the matchups.
Can it get any better than 4-1 seeds?
On-site coverage of the Final Four begins Thursday on College Sports Radio, Channel 84 in your car and on the SiriusXM app.
So Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
You want baseball? The doggy has you covered. Tune in to Mad Dog Unleashed for the best baseball coverage anywhere. Weekdays 3 to 6 Eastern. SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
The fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for tuning in today. 1-0 Blue Jays, and Easton Lucas steals home to Keibert Ruiz. Misses high and outside, ball one.
How about Easton Lucas into the fourth inning now, just through pitch number 47. He's looking pretty good.
First start in the Major League career of Easton Lucas, filling in for Max Scherzer. 1-0. Swing and a bouncer to third base. Foul ball, just foul. Almost looked like it went over the bag. Clement played it out, but it'll be 1-1.
Did you see what that was?
What was it?
A 1-0 changeup.
There you go.
That also tells me that he's really comfortable out there. He's starting to feel like himself. If you're able to just flip that changeup in there really behind in the count, you're probably comfortable out there on that pitcher's mound.
If you pitch inside and throw changeups and fastball counts, you're a friend of Chris LaRue. 1-1 pitch is hit in the air right field. Santander was playing in, so he'll backpedal and make the catch. 1 out. It's still early in the game, but this has gone pretty well from a Blue Jays perspective so far. 3 1/3 scoreless for Lucas. 1 walk and 1 single. Schneider said that they still haven't mapped out going forward how this spot is going to look, but he mentioned he's liked some recent returns from Yariel Rodriguez in the bullpen. If you can keep Lucas in the rotation, maybe it's an ideal spot for both. First pitch to James Wood is hit on the ground to second. Jimenez up with it, throws to first, 2 outs.
Well, I can almost guarantee that it solely hinges on how Easton Lucas looks. If Easton Lucas goes 6 innings today, I almost guarantee that he buys himself another couple of starts. That's just how baseball works. What have you done for me lately? We saw that yesterday with Yariel Rodriguez.
Lucas fighting off Rodriguez, but also potentially guys like Jake Bloss, Eric Lauer. 2 outs and the base is empty. Lucas's pitch to Nathaniel Lowe. Fastball at the knees, strike 1.
That's good stuff. Just dotted that thing at the bottom of the strike zone.
His location has been really impressive so far. The 0-1. Right at the knees again, strike 2.
I mean, that's not where he wanted it. You could see Tyler Heineman was trying to go up and in with that fastball, but the location couldn't have gotten any better.
It's a good miss.
Yeah.
Can be the difference between a lot of good and bad starts if your misses end up in a good spot or a bad spot. The 0-2. Poked foul, went away with the fastball, and Lowe just reached out to get it.
Another good miss. I don't know if Tyler Heineman was faking out the Nats or Nathaniel Lowe. He had his glove way above the strike zone and was opening it and closing it. But again, a good miss.
Kirk does that a lot, so it's always possible. The 0-2, down and away. One of the unfortunate things with the PitchCom is we don't get to see the signaling anymore. Now, they did that because people were seeing it and using it in the wrong way. The 1-2, high 2-2. But we'll never know really if a catcher is deking completely or if a guy just misses a spot wildly.
I also used to like to figure out signs. As a broadcaster, I'd be watching the game and I'd try to figure out the signs, and I can't do that anymore.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, 95 at the top of the zone. Second punch out of the day. 1, 2, 3, 4th for Easton Lucas. 1-0 Blue Jays. Bottom of the 4th coming up next. Springer, Clement, Schneider to hit. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking News 5. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Middle lane fastball, but he puts it by Cruz. 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 1-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the fourth. The pitch to George Springer. Called strike. Gore gets ahead of him 0-1. 5-6-7 for the Blue Jays this inning. Springer, Clement, Schneider. The 0-1. Swing and a fly ball. Deep left field. Wood going back at the warning track. It's gone! First home run of the season for George Springer, and the Blue Jays up their lead to 2-0.
We'll talk about a guy seeing the ball well. He absolutely hammers that thing about 2 inches above that wall. But he'll take it every single time. George Springer swinging at good pitches, making good contact. He looks like he's having fun out there.
And a nice adjustment from Springer, who punched out on a changeup his first time up, hits a changeup out of the yard his second time up. So 2-0, no outs bottom for the pitch to Ernie Clement. Called strike.
So I guess now 3 guys that I would never have guessed are leading this team when it comes to home runs.
Next pitch to Clement, foul tip 0-2.
Tyler Heineman, Andres Jimenez, and now George Springer.
Jimenez with 3, the other 2 each with 1. Not a lot of home runs early for the Blue Jays. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. With Clement sent down, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, which is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Catch the new menu starting in just 6 days on April 8th. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. Before we get to the scores, Davis Schneider up to the plate. 1 out, base is empty. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Got an AL East final already. Pittsburgh Pirates on the road taking down the Tampa Bay Rays. 4-2, the final score in that one. The 1-0. Schneider hits it high in the air, foul to the right. 1-1. Ho-hum, another great day for Paul Skeens. 7 innings he threw against the Rays. 3 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. No walks and 6 strikeouts.
Speaking of Paul Skeens, did you see that GQ photo shoot that just came out with him?
The 1-1. High and outside, 2-1. Well, not to blow up your spot, but I did, but only because you showed it to me. Not a regular GQ subscriber.
Hey, he looked good. Got to admit, he looked good.
Striped suit. The 2-1. Called strike 2-2. Elsewhere, there's a final in St. Louis. The Cardinals avoid a sweep against the Angels, scoring 7 runs in the 8th inning to win 12-5, 2-2. Popped up behind the plate. Ruiz holding the mask now, dumps it, but that one's going to go onto the netting and down into the seats. A couple other games going on right now. Kansas City and Milwaukee in extra innings. That one 2-2 in the 11th. Cubs are leading the Athletics 4-0 in West Sacramento in the bottom of the second. And then Detroit, Seattle, San Francisco, Houston, Cleveland, San Diego all getting underway. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 96 elevated back-to-back Ks for Mackenzie Gore.
That's just a tough pitch. When you're thinking off speed, and then he blows that fastball by you just at the top of the strike zone. That's a tough pitch to make contact with.
Gore settling in nicely after giving up the leadoff home run this inning to George Springer. 2-0 Blue Jays. 2 outs. Bases empty, bottom 4. The pitch to Tyler Heineman is upstairs, ball 1.
And again, I have to say, I am grateful for this roof.
Snow is coming down right now in downtown Toronto. The 1-0. Swinging a hot shot up the middle. A base hit into center field. Second hit today for Heineman. Third on the season in 5 at-bats. And he's on first with 2 outs.
Well, he's obviously done something to be able to make good contact with the baseball. A fastball inside. He pulls those hands through and gets the barrel to it, smashes that thing right back up the middle.
Not just here for the defense is Tyler Heineman, who's on first with 2 outs. And the number 9 hitter, Miles Straw, up. The pitch. Called strike, 0-1. Straw 1 for 1 with a double. Just to wrap up on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, you mentioned the roof. Well, when you don't have one, you get in trouble. The White Sox delayed right now against the Minnesota Twins. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. The 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Game was actually supposed to start 2 hours ago. The Twins-White Sox game still hasn't got underway.
You love being at the ballpark, though. You don't mind a rain delay.
No, but I prefer a roof. A retractable roof, not a full roof. The 1-1. Called strike 1 and 2. Left-hander Gore is set. Third base side of the rubber. He kicks and fires. Swing and a line drive, left center field, down for a base hit. Heineman makes the turnaround second. He'll head into third. Wood's throw bounces back into second, and it's a 2-hit day for Miles Straw. Runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Pretty good pitch from Mackenzie Gore down in the zone, but Miles Straw just goes down and golfs that thing into center field. Tyler Heineman with that ball right in front of him just rounds second base and takes third base pretty easily.
Keibert Ruiz is going to walk out to the mound and talk to his starter, Mackenzie Gore. It's another day, though, Chris, where the bottom of the order is playing a big role in the Blue Jays offense. That's 4 hits from Heineman and Straw in the 8-9 spot.
Well, that's the most impressive thing. I think when you think about a winning ball club, a championship team, when the best players are struggling, like Anthony Santander, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the other guys pick up the slack. And then when those guys start to hit better or see the ball better, then you're even better. So I think that's the most impressive thing right now with the Toronto Blue Jays lineup.
Top of the order now, Bo Bichette up. He's 0 for 2, but he should have a hit if not for a diving catch in the second by Dylan Cruz. First and third, the pitch. Fastball at 95, strike 1. After Cruz had failed to make the leaping catch on the Straw double in the second, he raced in, dove forward, and got Bichette's just before it hit the turf. The 0-1 hit foul, 0-2.
Ooh, Bo was all over that pitch. 95 right down the middle. Took a huge hack at it, just fouled it back.
Yeah, wouldn't throw that one again if I were Mackenzie Gore. Bo Bichette, a couple of doubles, still searching for his first home run. He's 9 for 26 on the year. The 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Out of Gore's view, Tyler Heineman dancing around on third base, trying to distract the left-handed pitcher. Took 3 hard steps down the line as Gore went into his motion. Gore's set, and he'll step and throw over to first, but easily back in is the speedy Miles Straw.
It's a big run standing over at third base. Ahmed Rosario, the second baseman, is shaded towards second. And Nathaniel Lowe is holding on Miles Straw at first base. We've seen Bo Bichette go the other way, shoot that hole on the right side quite often.
The 1-2. Swing and a little looper to shortstop, caught by Abrams to end the inning. The Blue Jays get 1 on 3 hits. George Springer's first home run of the season makes it 2-0 Blue Jays. after 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying.
They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum.
Hey Jays fans, thanks for hanging out with us today on Toronto Sports Insider, your home of the Toronto Blue Jays all season long, game 1 through 162, and then every single game of the playoffs. Now that you're here, please help us bring more baseball fans here to the chat by hitting that like button down below. As well, please share this link out. The more that we get this link out to social media, the more Blue Jays fans and baseball fans that will come and hang out with us to chat it up and cheer on our Toronto Blue Jays this 2025 season. Thank you for sharing the link. Thank you for hitting that like button. Now let's get back to the baseball. Go Jays, go! Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. All right.
All there is. Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 5th in Toronto, the Blue Jays leading 2-0 over the Washington Nationals. Easton Lucas looks in, fires home, and Josh Bell takes it down and away. Ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer, Derek Brandeo, Tom Young, Christian Chiniti, our technical directors. 1-0. Check swing, called strike.
Perfect pitch on the black on the outside corner. Josh Bell didn't like that call. Immediately turned to Derek Thomas and had a couple of words for him, but that's a good pitch.
It's been a tough start for Bell. 0 for 1 today, 1 for 20 on the year. He takes the 1-1 in the dirt, 2-1. Bell, though, has been a guy of half seasons the last couple years in a couple different ways. If you sign in Washington and you're Josh Bell, I don't think you're getting a long-term lease on an apartment. He's been traded at the last 3 deadlines. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And he's also performed wildly different for one of the teams and the other one in a season. It hasn't always been good first half, bad second half, or vice versa. But you look back at his last couple of years, great in 22 for the Nationals, traded with Soto to the Padres, really struggled. Then he signed with Cleveland, struggled with them, was great for Miami down the stretch to go to the playoffs in 23. 2-2 high and outside, full count. And then last year, back with Miami to start, struggled, traded over to Arizona, very good for the Diamondbacks, and they nearly made the playoffs, losing on a tiebreaker. The 3-2. Fouled off. So if you're Bell, you just got to wait. You get traded over to the Boston Red Sox or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're going to be an 800 OPS guy.
So you're saying Josh Bell has been all over the place?
He's been all over the place geographically and statistically.
Well, yeah, that's true.
The last 3 years.
Well, he looks lost right now, that's for sure.
The 3-2, fouled right back.
Tyler Heineman pointing out at Easton Lucas after that pitch. A pretty good fastball at the top of that strike zone. Josh Bell doing a good job just fouling it back to stay alive.
Only 57 pitches so far for Lucas. The 3-2. Just inside, ball 4.
Brendan Little is now warming up in that bullpen out in left field. You have to wonder, I know his pitch count is 75, 80, maybe 85, but I think this might be either his last inning, last couple of batters maybe.
You look at the top of the order for the Nats, they got a couple left-handed hitters and switch hitters up there. That's probably when you want Little. Right now, 3 right-handed hitters in a row, starting with Alex Call, who takes the first pitch downstairs, ball 1. It's Call up now with DeYoung on deck and Cruz behind him. Right-handed, right-handed, right-handed. Runner on first, nobody out. And the pitch. In there, 94, strike one.
It's a big pitch. You've fallen behind 1-0 to the tying run, and you come back and dot that thing on the inside corner. You can tell he's comfortable out there.
Lucas kicks and fires. And a ground ball hit to third. To the backhand side. Clement picks it up, throws to second one. Over to first. In time. Double play. A high degree of difficulty on that one. Ernie had to step on third to field the ball. Long throw to second. Same for Jimenez, who had to option over to first. And the Blue Jays wipe away the leadoff walk. But it looks like the Nationals are going to challenge.
Yeah, we haven't seen the slow motion replay yet. I'm sure we'll see it right now. This call will almost certainly be overturned.
Yeah, he was safe.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't even have to discuss this one. He was very clearly safe.
He was definitely
I bet
safe.
it'll be quick.
He hasn't left the bag at all. But even still, a very nice play from the Blue Jays. There's many ways that could have gone awry. A nice stop by Clement, a good throw over to second, and a decent effort to get the ball over to first and even make this a replay review.
After review, the call return, the runner safe, watch retains the challenge.
You know it was obvious because there wasn't even that many boos when they overturned the call. He was clearly safe.
They showed the slow motion replay. And normally there's cheers or boos. There was nothing.
What can he do?
Yeah.
So one out, and now call on first rather than Bell. Paul DeYoung at the plate. First pitch from Lucas. High and outside, ball one.
But that sequence to Alex Call was executed to perfection. Fastball in, change up away, and then Alex Call just hit that little weak ground ball to Ernie Clement at third base. He's looking really, really solid right now.
First major league start, he's given up 1 hit and 2 walks. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. As a reliever, he's been great at AAA for the last couple of years. Did not manage to stick around in a couple different major league pens, but maybe reinvented as a starter. He's found something. Step and throw over to first, call back in easily.
Well, I said this before the ball game. Just because you're a reliever for 2 years doesn't mean you can't turn yourself into a starter. He looks like a starter. The mechanics, the pitches, the confidence.
The 1-1. Just missed, 2-1.
And even that arm speed, even that arm strength, we've seen him up to 95 miles an hour with that fastball from the left side. That's pretty good.
Typically when he's missed today, it's been close misses, sometimes productive misses. The pitch has landed in the right spot. And he's gone after Nationals hitters all afternoon. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. 92 right on the top outer corner of the zone, 2-2.
And again, you have to be careful with Paul DeYoung. He does have a ton of pop, 24 homers last year.
2-0 Blue Jays. Runner on first, 1 out, top of the 5th. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Reach back for 94 to get him, 2 down.
You could tell Paul DeYoung had changeup or something off speed in the back of his head. I mean, Easton Lucas just absolutely blows that fastball by him at the top of the strike zone.
This could be the last batter for Lucas. Top of the order coming up. C.J. Abrams would hit at the top of the order, a left-handed hitter, and the lefty reliever Little is getting loose. The pitch to Dylan Cruz. Called strike, 0-1. Pete Walker on the phone right now in the Blue Jay dugout. Little mostly standing around. He's been throwing all inning. A look at first. And the 0-1. High bouncer hit to third. Clement charges, gloves, snap throw over to first in time to end the inning. 5 scoreless for Easton Lucas in his first major league start. He does not give up a run, only one hit and 2 walks to speak of. 2-0 Blue Jays, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
I'm Mike Farron. If you're like me, you love baseball. You love talking baseball with your friends, and your partner on the radio is the former general manager of the Mets.
This is Jim Duquette. Join me and Mike weekdays at 10 Eastern for Power Alley on MLB Network Radio.
It's baseball, baseball, and more baseball. 100% in-depth baseball talk.
We spent an entire week once on pulled pork recipes.
It's 95% in-depth baseball talk on Power Alley. Weekdays, 10 Eastern, MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Toronto Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. Bottom of the 5th, 2-0 Blue Jays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Fouled back 0-1. Vlad 0 for 2 today, a line out and a strikeout. The 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Easton Lucas is standing in the dugout right now with his elbows on the back of that front bench. You think he's done?
I think he's done.
Yeah, I think he's done.
He got a high 5 tunnel. 5 great innings from Lucas. The 1-1. Swing and a deep drive. Right field. Call sprinting back. It's off the base of the wall. Guerrero around first. Going to be a close play. Throw bounces in. Not in time. Head first dive by Guerrero. Safe at second with a leadoff double.
Well, that's really good base running. Even with no out, that ball is in front of you as a base runner. So you see that ball bounce off the fence. You know that you can get to second base or not. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hustling into second base with the head first slide and the leadoff double.
Vladdy getting rid of the extra equipment now. He's in scoring position for Anthony Santander. It's not quite the same colors or location or name, but playing against the franchise that his dad played for and well for a long time. First pitch to Anthony Santander, called strike 0-1. There is no one in the franchise's history who hit for a better batting average while with the Expos/Nationals than Vladimir Guerrero Sr., who hit .323 in his time with Montreal. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. It's also no one who's had a better slugging percentage. Guerrero 7th in the franchise's career hits list, 2nd in home runs, being passed by the longtime National Ryan Zimmerman a couple years back. And one of the great players in the franchise's history. The 0-2 in the dirt.
If you look at Mackenzie Gore, who we know is a young up and coming stud in Major League Baseball, I don't think Easton Lucas and Mackenzie Gore, I don't think their stuff is that different.
Interesting. The 1-2 hit foul.
Easton Lucas has the big fastball, 94 miles an hour, topped at 95. this afternoon. He's got the good changeup, the good slider. Mackenzie Gore obviously has that big breaking curveball that is a difference maker for him, but I think the difference maker is that changeup. I really like what Easton Lucas did.
It's got to give people around the Blue Jays a lot of confidence going forward and what they can do with Scherzer out. 1-2 pitch, hit on the ground left side, fielded deep by Abrams. Long throw, double bounces, offline and not in time. Should credit Santander with an infield single there. Abrams had a chance, but really did not release a good throw.
Yeah, Santander got blown up by that pitch from Mackenzie Gore. Hit it in a perfect spot. I mean, that's a tough play for C.J. Abrams. Probably should have made a better throw than he did. A little three-hopper over to first base, but I'm assuming they'll give him a hit.
They did rule it a hit for Santander. And no expectation Abrams gets him out, but he really never had a chance once that ball left his hand. Guerrero stayed at second, by the way, and the first pitch to Andres Jimenez called a strike, 0-1. So Santander on first, Guerrero on second, Jimenez up to the plate, 1 for 2 with an RBI single. And it's 2-0 Blue Jays in the bottom of the fifth. The 0-1. Hit off the end of the bat foul, 0-2.
Those are some big insurance runs out there right now, especially Vladimir Guerrero Jr. standing on second base and nobody out in this inning.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Jimenez sat down on a slider. Strikeout 5 for Gore.
That's not what you want in that situation. I think worst case scenario is a strikeout. Best case, obviously a base hit. But you want to make contact with that baseball. Move that runner over to third base. Tough strikeout right there for the Jays.
It'll bring George Springer up to the plate, though. He's been great to start the year. 1 for 2 today with a solo homer. The pitch. Inside, ball 1. Talking about Mackenzie Gore being a young stud, in your words. Let's go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. I think these two guys would be on the Chris LaRue young stud list. Jack Leiter facing off against Hunter Green today as the Rangers face the Reds. Next pitch to Springer, high, 2-0.
I haven't seen a lot of Jack Leiter, but I do love Hunter Green.
Well, this game was 1-0 final, 6 total hits in the game. Green went 7 innings, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 8 Ks. Leiter went 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. The 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Difference in the game was a Josh Smith RBI double. Shortstop today for the Rangers, and Texas off to a nice start now, 5-2 on the season. Have beat the Reds on the road and Boston at home in their 2 series. 2-1 pitch is low, 3-1. Pardon me, they're at a 1-1 right now in the series with Cincinnati.
I guess my question to you would be, can they throw a changeup in a 2-0 count?
We'll have to see. Blue Jays play the Rangers at some point this year. They go to Texas in late May. 3-1 to the former Astro, George Springer. Called strike, full count. Texas will then visit the Blue Jays August 15 to 17. I'm hoping between those two we get to see a little Leiter and a little Rocket. And maybe some DeGrom.
Couple of tough matchups.
Yeah. Blue Jays leading 2-0 against a tough pitcher, Mackenzie Gore. It's 3-2. Springer takes it in the dirt, ball 4. That'll load the bases. Guerrero up to third, Santander at second, and Springer at first after the walk.
And how about that? Mackenzie Gore showing a little bit of respect to George Springer, who's seeing the ball very well right now. A 3-2 breaking ball, a tough breaking ball, and a good take from George Springer.
It's going to prompt Jim Hickey to go out to the mound so we can keep checking out the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Now 5-0 for the Cubs in West Sacramento. Seiya Suzuki has a 3-run homer in the game. Matt Shaw with an RBI. Carson Kelly with an RBI as well. Did you see, Chris, Carson Kelly hit for the cycle for the Cubs? He was the first guy to do it since Mark Grace in 1993 for Chicago.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Carson Kelly was not born in 1993.
Well, I mean, this hitting for the cycle is tough, but, I mean, what is that, 30 years?
Just about 32.
28 years? No, 32 years, sorry.
And if it's going to happen, you don't think it's going to be your catcher who hits for the cycle. Kelly with only a couple career triples, but he did it a few days ago. 5-0 again for the Cubs over the Athletics on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Pitch to Ernie Clement with the bases loaded. Curveball, strike one. 2-0 Blue Jays, 1 out, bottom of the 5th. Clement 2 for 13 in the young season. The 0-1. Swing and a high drive, right field, sprinting back call at the warning track, reaches to make the catch as he bangs into the wall. Guerrero tags and jogs home. It's a deep sac fly for Ernie Clement, and the Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead.
Well, Ernie Clement did a good job just hammering that thing where it was pitched on the outside part of the plate, but he missed a grand slam by about 10 feet. Alex Call making a good play, slamming up against that wall in right field. And then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just trotting home for the 3rd run of the ball game.
Yeah, Clement is probably thinking, if I was just a fraction of an inch different on that swing.
If I just stayed in the gym for one more minute.
Nearly had his first grand slam. Here's Davis Schneider and takes the pitch high, ball 1. First and second, 2 outs, 3-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 5th. Another high hit day for the Blue Jays. 9 knocks in 4 2/3 against Mackenzie Gore. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Well, I should say they've played some more games than some of their AL counterparts. The Blue Jays entered today leading the American League in total hits at 55. They have played one more game than the Orioles, who entered today at 53. The 1-1. Fouled right back, elevated fastball. It's 1-2. Schneider had mentioned to me a couple days ago, everyone looks at the high pitch as something that gives him trouble, but he said down and away actually hurt him more last year. When a pitch is up and out over the plate, he has okay numbers against them, he said. It's up and in is going to hurt him, but down and away really got him last year. Next pitch is up and away, but a little too high. It's ball 2.
Well, I think most pitchers will tell you that if they were going to throw one pitch in any at-bat, it's a fastball down and away. That's the toughest pitch to hit in all of baseball. Obviously, no different for Davis Schneider.
A look at second by Gore, the 2-2. Fouled right back, spoiled 97 just above the zone. Looks like Gore is emptying the tank here as Brad Lord warms up for the Nationals.
Yeah, Mackenzie Gore has now thrown 92 pitches in this ball game. I mean, for the most part, he's looked pretty good, too. 17 first pitch strikes.
He'll step off now and reset the pitch clock. Not a bad start by Gore if he can get through this 5th. 3 earned runs. He peaks at second, the 2-2. Outside, ball 3. This Blue Jays offense just off to a pretty nice start to the year. Averaging 4 2/3 runs per game so far after just barely averaging over 4 last year.
And they're essentially doing it without Vlad and without Anthony Santander. Of course, until today, they're both contributing today, but before that, they were doing it without them.
The 3-2. Runners take off, and the pitch hits Davis Schneider in the forearm. He appears to be all right, and the bases are loaded again for the Blue Jays with 2 outs.
Nothing worse as a hitter to get hit when you have 3 balls on you. Just give me the walk. I don't want to get hit.
He really tried to jump out of the way, just couldn't get out of there. Looked like the slider from Gore actually got him on the underside of the right arm, but it looked like it narrowly missed the elbow, which is probably good news for Schneider, who never moved a muscle really, just took off the elbow guard and trotted down to first. Tyler Heineman asking for time. Mackenzie Gore walking down the mound. A bit of a discussion going on at home plate with Derek Thomas. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, and Heineman is 2 for 2 today, 3 for 5 on the season with a homer and an RBI. Gore's pitch. Swing and a flare down the right field line, foul territory. First baseman Lowe makes the catch, running onto the side warning track to end the inning. The Blue Jays get one on the Ernie Clement sac fly. They come up with 2 hits, leave 3 on in the bottom of the 5th. 3-0 Blue Jays as we head to the 6th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything to count.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Oh no, I can't be out of ink. Not now.
Megatank.
Why do I always do this to myself? What is that printer that comes with 30 times the ink?
Megatank.
Yes, it's a Canon Mega phone?
Megatank.
It's a Canon printer. It comes with like $2,000 worth of ink. Prints me over 7,700 color pages.
Megatank.
Mega what?
Listen to the voice in your head and get a Canon Megatank printer so you don't have to think about ink for a long, long time. Canon Megatank printers available at Best Buy, Amazon, and Staples.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Called strike 3, change up at the knees, and there's nothing you can do about that pitch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Top of the 6th inning on a work from dome day. We have our first pitching change presented by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Brendan Little, the lefty reliever, into the game for the Blue Jays. Top of the order coming up for the Nationals, and it's 3-0 Toronto as we get going in the 6th. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Little facing C.J. Abrams to start the inning. First pitch to Abrams, inside, ball 1. Little making his 4th appearance of the year, has not allowed a run in 2 2/3 innings. 2 hits allowed, 3 strikeouts, no walks. The 1-0. Hit foul on the ground, first base side, 1-1.
Brendan Little really, there's no secret sauce to how he can have success. It's basically just throwing strike 1, getting ahead, and then really letting that good sinker work, and he'll find himself in a good position. He's looked pretty good so far this season.
He's got great stuff between the sinker, the cutter, and the curve. Here's 1-1. Swing and a deep drive right field, hooking toward the foul pole. That ball's out of here. C.J. Abrams turns on a sinker and smashes it to right field for his 2nd home run of the series. Nats on the board now, 3-1.
Well, that's kind of what happens when you're a sinker baller and you leave that ball up. You kind of get underneath that fastball. It stays up. It doesn't have any sink, and it's obviously easier to hit. C.J. Abrams right there basically hit that ball off a tee into right field. A pretty good swing on a pitch that was middle.
Nice series overall for Abrams, who's homered down games 1 and 3 and had 2 doubles and 3 hits in game 2. First pitch to Rosario, hit on the ground to third. Little gets it out as Clement picks it up and throws to first, 1 down.
And that's what happens when you get on top of the sinker. It starts like it's down the middle and then kind of just dives, and you get the weak contact like that from Ahmed Rosario.
Little coming in, though, ends what was a great first major league start for Easton Lucas. 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He got as much out of that 75 pitch count as you could, throwing 74 through 5 innings. Keibert Ruiz, the switch hitter, bats right. The pitch. Swing and a grounder to third. Backhanded by Clement. Long throw over to first, but they're in plenty of time. 2 down.
And like we talked about a little bit earlier, I mean, I can almost guarantee that Easton Lucas will get at least one, if not two more starts because of this start. He's shown that he can throw strikes. He can throw that changeup in any count. And I think those are the two things that the Blue Jays are looking at. Can this guy throw strikes? And can this guy throw his off-speed pitches in fastball counts? And he showed that today.
Should line up for Lucas to start at Fenway Park on the Blue Jays road trip as James Wood takes strike one. 2 out, bases empty, 3-1 Blue Jays, top of the 6th.
That'll be a little bit different atmosphere.
I think so. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, nothing in 2. After today's game, the Blue Jays have an off day and then a 10-game road trip, 13 games in a row without a day off. The 0-2. Bounce to the plate. They'll go to Citi Field, take on the Mets in Queens from the 4th to the 6th. At Fenway Park from the 7th to the 10th. That's a 4-game set. And then at Camden Yards in Baltimore from the 11th to the 13th before coming home for 3 straight against the Atlanta Braves. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Nice bounce back after the home run allowed. 2 groundouts and a strikeout for Little, but the Nats get 1. It's 3-1 Blue Jays, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Explore a world of ground.
Cheers, baseball fans. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, chatting it up, having a good time, keeping it classy while we cheer on our Toronto Blue Jays this 2025 season. Please take a look at the link that is pinned in the chat for the SickKids Bracket Mania campaign that we are running through the March Madness tournament, which is almost over. The Final Four is coming up, and we are going to have a lot of fun celebrating whoever wins those matchups to take home the title, cutting down the nets at the Final Four in San Antonio. We appreciate you being here, baseball fans. I just wanted to give a big shout out to the mods as well for their work in the chats, especially with the Bracket Mania campaign. We really appreciate you knocking out all those bots that are so annoying and messing up our chat while we're trying to just chat it up and keep it classy. Wrenches, you rock. We'll see you back in the chat. Let's go, Blue Jays.
Sports. Join me for live coverage of the Masters beginning Thursday, April 10th on Masters Radio, Channel 92 in the car and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 6th, and this pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Mackenzie Gore is done after 5 innings, and the right-hander Brad Lord making his 2nd appearance of the series, 3rd in the last 4 days. The righty will take on 9-1-2 Straw Bichette Guerrero with the Blue Jays up 3-1. Lord works from the wind, deals home. And the first pitch inside, ball 1. Quick riser in the Nationals system. Brad Lord drafted in 2022 out of South Florida. The 1-0. Called strike. Just months ago, he was hauling around Christmas trees and mulch at Home Depot, but these days he's pitching in the major leagues for the Nationals. The 1-1. Swinging a liner, right field, down in fair territory, and bouncing toward the right field corner. Speedy Straw is sprinting into second with a stand-up double. Make that 3 hits, 2 doubles today for Miles Straw.
Well, if Santander can't do it, if Vlad can't do it, why not Miles Straw? Pretty good piece of hitting there. Took that tough pitch and deposited that thing right down the line. I think for a split second he thought that ball was foul, but then as soon as he saw that ball was fair, he got on his horse and ended up at second base.
Straw with a big lead off second. Rosario playing close to the bag. And the pitch to Bo Bichette. Hit off the handle, a soft roller to second. Straw advances to third. Rosario throws out Bichette, 1 out.
I mean, that's not what you want Bo Bichette to do. But if Bo's going to get out, why not move that runner up from second base?
Brings the infield in for the Nationals, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just needs a fly ball or a well-placed grounder to bring in a run. Straw with a lot of speed could very well be off on contact with 1 out.
No time like the present to run into one. How about that?
1 for 3 today with a double. Looking for his first homer of the year. The pitch. Called strike.
Vlad didn't like that call. Immediately looked back at Derek Thomas. Had a quick conversation with him. I tend to agree. That was about a half a ball inside. Tough pitch. Still shaking his head.
3-1 Blue Jays. 1 out. Bottom of the 6th. And the pitch. Inside for sure that time. 1-1. Carlos Fablis standing right beside Miles Straw, who leads off in foul territory off third into the eye line of Brad Lord. The 1-1. Swing and a rocket foul right side, zipping into the seats down the right field line. 1-2. Infield in and playing straight up. The 1-2. Fouled off the glove of Ruiz. They'll do it again.
That's a tough pitch. A ball that's just running in on the hands of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at 97 miles an hour. Such an awkward swing, but was able to at least make contact with it.
And that's a four-seamer from Lord, but he gets natural movement on it. Slider and change as well. Here's 1-2. Swing and a bouncer to short. Straw coming to the plate. Abrams comes up throwing, and it's high off the glove of the catcher Ruiz to the backstop. Straw in to score. Up to second base goes Guerrero. He's thinking about third, but he'll hold up there. It's an RBI fielder's choice for Vlad. An error by Abrams to advance Guerrero to second, and most importantly, it's 4-1 Blue Jays.
Yeah, like you said, Miles Straw was definitely going on contact, and it might have caught C.J. Abrams off guard there, because Miles Straw might have beaten that out, even if it was a good throw to home plate. A guy with a ton of speed, and like you said, going off right on contact.
We've seen some of the ups and downs of Abrams in this series. He's been great at the plate, and his range has been fantastic. The throws have been very inconsistent. Guerrero on second after the error. Santander turned around to hit left, takes inside from Lord. Ball 1.
Well, I think he just tried to rush that. Like I said, he fielded the baseball, and as he looked up, he was probably like, oh no, Miles Straw is 3/4 of the way down the line, tried to rush it, and overthrew the catcher.
The 1-0 to Santander. Swing and a miss. Two hits today for Santander in 3 tries. A double to left field in the first and an infield single in the 5th. The 1-1. Foul tip, 1-2. Santander waiting outside the box. And he's going to ask for time. Gives us time to go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Mentioned the Blue Jays take on the Mets next. And the Mets, coming off a loss to the Marlins, are leading Miami today 1-0 in the first inning. Pete Alonso doubled in Juan Soto to give New York the early advantage. The 1-2 to Santander is hit on the ground to third. DeYoung has it, pumps, throws on to first. 2 outs. Guerrero had to hold at second. In the Pacific Northwest on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Seattle is leading Detroit 2-0 right now. A 2-run double from Victor Robles. Big pickup for the Nationals, or pardon me, for the Mariners from the Nationals last year. Completely turned around his career, Robles. And he has Seattle in front. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Andres Jimenez hits. Runner on second, 2 outs. First pitch up and away. Ball 1. 2 relievers up for the Blue Jays. Chad Green and Jacob Barnes. Probably Green if it stays 4-1. Barnes maybe if the Blue Jays add on another. Guerrero on second, a look back from Lord in the 1-0. Called strike.
It would be nice if Barnes could get in this ball game and the Blue Jays take a 4-run lead here, give Chad Green just a little bit of a breather.
Green did pitch yesterday. Barnes hasn't gone since Saturday. The 1-1. Bounce to the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike. You'd figure most, if not all, of the Blue Jays' pen is available today. If there's one guy that maybe isn't, Jeff Hoffman has thrown 3 of the last 4 days, although there's an off day tomorrow. Swing and a miss at the 2-1. It's 2-2. Jimenez asks for time, readjusts his batting gloves and his hand and wrist guard that goes on the bottom right hand. Left-handed hitter back in the box. Guerrero on second. 4-1 Blue Jays. 2-2 count and 2 outs. The pitch. Fouled off the glove of Ruiz. Still 2-2. Action in the Nationals pen as well. Orlando Ribalta is getting loose. He's the only reliever, he and Kyle Finnegan, that we haven't seen from the Nationals so far. 2-2 pitch. Fouled right back again.
Would you be surprised if you found out your gardening specialist at Home Depot threw 97 with sink?
Very surprised. Very surprised. And he didn't, apparently, before he got stronger lifting all those trees.
Oh, goodness.
The 2-2. Broken bat, roller to second. Barrel is all over the first baseline as Rosario throws to first to get his former teammate Jimenez and end the inning. The Blue Jays add 1 after the leadoff double by Straw. He's knocked in by Guerrero, and it's 4-1 Toronto as we go to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com. Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Next pitch, Moniak takes off. It's low a ball, throw down to second. They got him!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
7th inning, still Brendan Little for the Blue Jays. His first pitch to Nathaniel Lowe, called a strike. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Thanks for tuning in today. Blue Jays looking for a sweep, up 4-1 on the Nationals as we start the 7th. Little kick steals. Swing and a miss at the curve. 0-2.
Chad Green is still getting loose out there in that bullpen.
It's a lefty, then a switch hitter, and 3 righties in a row, so potentially a mid-inning pitching change. 0-2 in the dirt. It could be a wait and see with Little. Maybe if he gets the first 2, they let him face a righty, but if someone's on, they bring in Green. 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. dropped the curveball into the middle of the zone. Second strikeout for Brandon Little.
That's so tough when you have that fastball that Brendan Little has. Here comes John Schneider there. He's answering all of our questions. But it's so tough when you can throw that breaking ball for a strike on a hitter. Nathaniel Lowe really just looked so uncomfortable during that whole at-bat.
As Schneider walks out, a quick check at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds. Find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. With the Rays loss already today, they're 4-2, tied with the currently 4-2 Blue Jays and 3-1 Yankees. Orioles 3-2, Red Sox 1-4. As this pitching change is underway, it's brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project's bases with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Let's go back to the studio with today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Welcome back inside Baseball Control. Show Ali here with you. Let's do a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll start with some hockey tonight. 4 games on the calendar, including 2 Canadian teams. The Leafs are at home taking on the Panthers later on tonight. First of 2 remaining games between 2 teams jockeying for that Atlantic Division crown. Puck drop just after 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet. You can also listen to it on our flagship station, Sportsnet 590 The Fan in Toronto. Joe Bone and Jim Ralph. We'll have the call following the conclusion of Jays Talk, and after the game, JD Bunkis and Sam McKee will have Leafs Talk on the radio, Sportsnet Plus, and Sportsnet's YouTube page. Later on, we also have the Canucks back in action. They're at home taking on the Kraken. Puck drop will be just after 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Watch it on Sportsnet Pacific. Listen to it on 650 in Vancouver. Post-game coverage will follow on the radio after the final horn. And some news in the NBA, some Hall of Fame news. Been a long time coming, but Carmelo Anthony has been notified that he is headed to Springfield on the first ballot. He will be a part of the 2025 class in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Anthony, one of the more prolific scorers in the NBA during his decorated career. He had notched 10 All-Star appearances, 6 All-NBA teams in 19 seasons, alongside 3 Olympic gold medals and a national championship with Ben Schulman's Syracuse. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get back down to the Rogers Center. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you, Show. I think we can all appreciate a great Syracuse player going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Here at the Diamond, the Blue Jays up 4-1 with 1 out top of the 7th, and they turn around Josh Bell. The switch hitter now bats left against righty Chad Green.
And although only one of us went to Syracuse, I did have a full basketball Syracuse uniform when I was in high school, so there's that.
First pitch inside to Bell, 1-0. We were popping. Bell, drafted out of high school by the Pirates in 2011, faces a 1-0. Just low, 2 balls, no strikes. For Chad Green, it's his 4th outing of the year. After the first 2 had home runs come in against Green, he came in for 1 batter yesterday and struck him out. Bell hits a towering fly ball on the 2-0 to fairly deep right field, but he just got under it. Santander Camps makes the catch. 2 outs. That power definitely still there for Bell. He hit that ball almost as high as he did far, but just didn't level it out enough to get it over the wall.
Yeah, you could tell it's still in there. He's just really struggling right now, making good contact, squaring balls up. He squared that up, just in the wrong direction.
So 2 outs and Alex Call to the plate. 0 for 2 today. The pitch. Called strike. Outside of the home run, Nationals have not put a runner past first base today. 4-1 Blue Jays. The 0-1 in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. One. Down and away again. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Blue Jays pitchers have looked great today. Easton Lucas obviously pitched really well, gave up 1 hit in his 5 innings, and then Brendan Little, even though he gave up that home run to C.J. Abrams, he looked very good as well.
The 2-1. Called strike, 2-2. Little would bounce back to get the next 4 batters, including 2 strikeouts. And all in all, this whole series, Blue Jays pitching has been great. Only 6 runs allowed so far for Toronto, and they're looking to complete their 25th inning of the series. The 2-2. Hit back foul. Blue Jays looking for a sweep today. They had 5 sweeps last season at the White Sox versus Texas, at the Angels versus the Angels, and versus the St. Louis Cardinals. 2-2. Swatted foul down the right field line out of play. But it was mid-season when they picked up their first sweep last year. So while some may not care too much about sweeping a team like the Nationals, if you're going to be good, a team that's in the mid-70s projected wins, you want to sweep them. 2-2 in the dirt. Check swing, appeal to third, no swing, full count.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Obviously, you want to win a series, but if you can sweep a team like this, and then you go to New York, you split that series, and then you sweep another one, and then you split the series against the Yankees, something like that.
3-2. Hit on the ground to third, spinning, stop by Clement, throws over to first in time to end the inning. Chad Green gets the last 2 outs to the top of the 7th, and at the stretch, it's 4-1 for the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Law & Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law & Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law & Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law & Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
But you got no confidence, baby.
Hi, this is Will Wagner, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. New pitcher for the Nationals, Orlando Ribalta, makes his second appearance of the season. Tall right-hander looks in at George Springer. He kicks and delivers. Misses, gets the zone at 97, strike one. 6'7", 245 pounds is Ribalta. Born in Cuba, grew up in Miami. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
There are some big boys on this Nationals roster. Josh Smith, James Wood, Ribalta.
Springer's going to ask for time now. For Ribalta, his first appearance did not go particularly well. 2 innings, he gave up 4 earned runs, 2 hits allowed, 3 walks allowed. 0-2. Check swing, called, strike 3. Breaking ball at the knees, or pardon me, the change gets him 1 out as Springer walks back to the dugout.
Well, Springer's shaking his head, walking back to that dugout, but that's a really good pitch. A right-on-right changeup from a guy throwing 97 miles an hour in just his 6th career game. It's a tough pitch. Probably not expecting that either.
It's 4-seamer change slider for Ribalta. His pitch to Ernie Clement. Swing and a pop-up back of second base. Abrams, the shortstop, in shallow left center on the turf, makes the catch. 2 outs. Ribalta, a 12th rounder by the Nationals out of Miami-Dade College. If you're born outside the United States, or have citizenship outside the United States, Puerto Rico, or Canada, you don't have to go through the draft system, but because he was living in Miami, went to college and then got drafted. Now there'll be a pinch hitter for the Blue Jays. Davis Schneider is lifted for Nathan Lucas to get the platoon advantage here, and probably defensive substitution lingers in there as well. The pitch. Lucas takes it for strike one. What I mean by that is you both get the left-handed hitter in against a righty pitcher, and you figure next inning you probably bring in your better defenders anyway. So Lucas was going to come in most likely. Next pitch is up and away, ball one.
Jimmy Garcia is now warming up in that bullpen. Jacob Barnes still warming up, and like you said earlier, if it's a 3-1 ball game, it's probably or three-run ball game. It's probably Jimmy Garcia. If it's more, it'll be Jacob Barnes.
4-1 Blue Jays, 2 outs, bases empty. Bottom of the 7th, the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Big hack from Lucas on 98, elevated 1-2.
And because Ribalta's 6'7", has those long arms, 98 probably seems north of 100.
Righty sets at his chest. Kick and a long stride, and the 1-2 check swing pitch in the dirt. Appeal to third, he didn't go. Ruiz and Ribalta were acting like that inning was over. Laz Diaz had other thoughts. It's 2-2.
I was acting like that inning was over. I thought that was a swing. Taking my headset off. John Schneider with a little smirk on his face. He probably thought it was a swing as well.
According to Diaz, Lucas just held up enough on the slider. The 2-2. Swing and a pop-up to second. Rosario under it makes the catch to end the inning. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3 in the 7th. We go to the 8th inning. Toronto up 4-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hear the Masters exclusively on SiriusXM. Hi, this is Mike Tirico, and there's nothing like the Masters.
Rory McIlroy, he's thinking grand slam.
The beauty of the azaleas, the passion of the patrons, and the best golfers in the world vying for a green jacket.
For birdie at 16, it's on the way and in. Scotty Scheffler can put one arm in the jacket now.
It all makes for one of the most iconic weekends in sports. Join me for live coverage of the Masters beginning Thursday, April 10th on Masters Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and the SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer, Derek Brandeo, Tom Young, Christian Chiniti, our technical directors. Pitching change for the Blue Jays brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Jimmy Garcia into the ball game for the Blue Jays, protecting a 4-1 lead. He comes on in the 8th. Saw Garcia get a save in the opener of this series. On a typical night, he'll be the late innings fireman, coming in whenever they need it. If there isn't a big situation, then he's going to be your 8th inning traditional setup guy for Jeff Hoffman. Pinch hitter now. They get a left-handed hitter into the game. Jose Tena is in. Paul DeYoung's night is over at 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. First pitch by Garcia, breaking ball for strike 1.
And how about that? That's what Jimmy Garcia is so good at, just throwing strike one. I've said this a million times. If you're a bullpen guy, you have to come into the ball game throwing strike one.
Next pitch, swing and a miss, and that's strike two. Tena, an international signing by Cleveland out of the Dominican Republic in 2017, making his first appearance of the series. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. 3 straight breaking balls and a 3-pitch strikeout for Garcia.
That last pitch was absolutely disgusting. You could tell Tena was not expecting a slider there. I thought he was going heater up, but he threw that slider back foot. Almost hit his back foot. Tena kind of just wailed at it just a little bit. Tough pitch.
Garcia into the set, and his pitch to Dylan Cruz. Swing and a bouncing ball up the middle. Running stop by Bichette. Spins and throws to first for the out. Dylan Cruz hit that one hard on a hop up the middle, and Bichette steals away a base hit with a nifty play at short.
Well, the most difficult part about that play wasn't catching the baseball. It was spinning around, throwing across the diamond. A perfect throw right to Vlad. What a play.
If you're Dylan Cruz, you're thinking, I can't buy a hit right now. He's hit 2 balls really hard in and around short, and Bichette has turned plays on both of them. 2 outs, C.J. Abrams up. First pitch, hit foul to the left, 0-1.
I bet Dylan Cruz could buy one. Signed for $9 million.
Yeah? I don't know what the going rate is for hits these days. Bo, though, looking much improved at the plate from last year and also looking great in the field to start the year. The 0-1. Swinging another foul to the left, 0-2. Big sparkling alien head chain draping out onto the jersey of the left-handed hitter Abrams, who looks out to Garcia. The 0-2. Swing and a ground ball up the middle. Backhanded sliding stop. Jimenez pops up, throws to first for the out, and that'll do it for the top of the 8th. Bichette and Jimenez coming up with great plays up the middle. 1-2-3 for Jimmy Garcia. 4-1 Blue Jays as we go to the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Oh no, I can't be out of ink. Not now.
Mega Tank.
Why do I always do this to myself? What is that printer that comes with 30 times the ink?
Mega Tank.
Yes, it's a Canon Megaphone?
Mega Tank.
It's a Canon printer. It comes with like $2,000 worth of ink. Prints me over 7,700 color pages.
Mega Tank.
Mega what?
Listen to the voice in your head and get a Canon Mega Tank printer, so you don't have to think about ink for a long, long time. Canon Mega Tank printers available at Staples, Best Buy, and Walmart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
It's Ernie Clement with the RBI single. 1-0 Toronto.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue on hand at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays leading 4-1, bottom of the 8th inning. Nationals stick with Orlando Ribalta for a second inning of work, and he deals to Tyler Heineman. First pitch high and outside, ball 1. 2 for 3 day for Heineman, a bunt single and a traditional single up the middle. The 1-0. Check swing. Pitch was low. Appeal to third. He did go. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1. Outside, ball 2.
How about your guy, Tyler Heineman? 2 for 3 in the ball game, 3 for 6 with a homer on the season. Showing some patience at the plate, too. A tough pitch outside.
Not a prolific offensive player, known more for the glove. But maybe there's something to this. The 2-1. Called strike 2-2. Heineman's played 20 games now at Rogers Center in his career, second only to 33 games at PNC Park. And in his career at Rogers Center, he's 13 for 41 after the 2 hits today. That's a .317 average. For some reason, he seems to hit pretty well at this ballpark. The 2-2. Swing and a fly ball, shallow center field. Cruz actually working back a little now, and straightaway center makes the catch. 1 out.
So most people would probably say that's a little bit coincidental.
I would probably agree.
But I tend to disagree because there are certain stadiums where I feel more comfortable standing out on the mound, looking around. I just feel, I don't know, like I actually did pitch at the Rogers Center in the World Baseball Classic, but I just felt awkward when I was standing out on the mound. And then you go to PNC, I feel great, and I don't know why. So there might be something to that.
The pitch to Miles Straw. Called strike, 0-1. It is a very mental game, and any edge you can get helps. There's been talk about the torpedo bat having a mental edge as much as a physics edge. 0-1 pitch called strike, 0-2. Although I really promise not to bring up that bat anymore. So
can you just say that bat?
That bat. Straw 3 for 3 today. 2 doubles, a single, a run scored. And now a pitch clock violation is going to go against Ribalta. So it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes. He didn't step off the mound in time. 1 out, base is empty. Blue Jays 4, Nationals 1. Bottom of the 8th. The 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's just easy 98. It doesn't really look like 98, and then you look up at the scoreboard and it says 98, and you're like, wow, that is some sneaky stuff from a big dude.
He kicks and fires, and it's fouled off. 96 on the inner edge by Ribalta. A 27-year-old among a few who are getting an opportunity in this Nationals pen. They have a couple injuries. The 2-2. Poked foul again.
I think Jacob Barnes has thrown a complete game in that bullpen. Warming up still next to Jeff Hoffman. He's warmed up next to Brendan Little. He's warmed up next to Jimmy Garcia. And now he's warming up to Jeff Hoffman, or next to Jeff Hoffman.
That's one of the big perks of Jacob Barnes. He's got an arm that could just throw a lot of pitches. The 2-2. Up and in, ball 3. And with them using Yariel Rodriguez in a shorter role recently, Barnes could be your longest guy pretty soon. So maybe this is good for him just to throw, even if he doesn't come into the game. Payoff pitch. Swing and a 2-hopper to short. Abrams throwing over top the third baseman. Tena gets the out. A little bit of confusion there. Tena just came into the game after pinch hitting in the spot of Paul DeYoung. And he was trying to cut off Abrams to get that ball, but he didn't get it. And then he was almost screening his own shortstop.
Yeah, that was a really tough play. And C.J. Abrams already has 2 errant throws in this ball game. I thought he might have a third because that was such a difficult play.
Came up with a good one, though. 2 outs, base is empty. Bo Bichette, the Blue Jays shortstop, up to the plate, 0 for 4. The pitch. High and outside, ball 1. Blue Jays' top 4 hitters today are 4 for 16, 1-0. Called strike 1-1. Which isn't bad, but it's not exactly leading the lineup. It's again a day where the middle to bottom of the order has come up big. The 1-1. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Five of the Toronto hits today have come from the 8 and 9 hitters combined. The 2-1. Bichette hits it in the air down the left field line, and it goes just foul. Bo took a step or two, thinking that ball might be off the wall or out for a home run, but it was always hooking, and it just couldn't stay fair long enough.
Yeah, Rebalta just got that fastball inside enough. Maybe a little bit on the handle. Bo Bichette just hit that thing foul.
The 2-2. High, ball 3. Guerrero waiting on deck. 2 outs and the base is empty. 4-1, bottom of the 8th. The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a fly ball out to shallow left. Wood started back. Abrams, the shortstop, scrambles out there to make the catch and end the inning. The Blue Jays go down 1-2-3, and we will go to the 9th inning. Jeff Hoffman about to come in for the Blue Jays. Toronto 3 outs away from a sweep. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Alert the press!
We are the press.
Page 6 Radio, a brand new show, is on SiriusXM.
I'm Danny Murphy.
I'm Evan Reel. And I'm Ian Moore, editor at Page 6, the New York Post's iconic celebrity news column.
We're your backstage pass to the hottest pop culture and entertainment stories you won't find anywhere else.
We're breaking stories before you've even had your first mimosa. It's iconic, legendary, everything. Page 6 Radio, weekdays at 8 a.m. East, only on SiriusXM Stars, Channel 109,
and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
What a game.
March Madness is down to the Final Four.
Cooper Flag brings the hammer down.
And SiriusXM's College Sports Radio will be in San Antonio, getting you closer to the action.
What a shot by Walter Clayton.
Hear from the coaches and players during our exclusive pre- and post-game shows and expert analysis of the matchups.
Can it get any better than 4-1 seeds?
On-site coverage of the Final Four begins Thursday on College Sports Radio, Channel 84 in your car and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team.
Jays fans, this is George Springer, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
George Springer, airborne, snatches it out of the sky.
Welcome back to Rogers Center for the top of the 9th inning. Blue Jays 4, Nationals 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and it's a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Toronto brings out the closer, Jeff Hoffman, who is 2 for 2 in save opportunities this year, has allowed only 1 hit in 3 scoreless innings. He takes on a pinch hitter, Luis Garcia Jr. The left-handed hitter comes in for Ahmed Rosario to start the inning. And the pitch. Fastball at 96, strike 1.
And how about that, strike 1? Reliever comes into a ball game and throws strike 1 and makes it infinitely easier to get out of that inning.
Fastball, splitter, slider for Hoffman is 0-1. Swing and a pop fly foul over the netting and into the seats near third base. 0-2.
The most important part about Jeff Hoffman's stats this season so far is he hasn't walked anybody.
Came on yesterday, needed only 8 pitches to get the save for the Blue Jays. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Elevates 96, 1 out.
It's a really good sequence. Luis Garcia Jr. was not expecting that elevated fastball, probably expecting something off speed, something in the dirt. Jeff Hoffman with the perfect pitch.
Quick first out for Hoffman, only needed 3 pitches, and now he'll deal to Keibert Ruiz. First, though, there's going to be time called. Brought over on a 3-year, $33 million contract from the Phillies. Hoffman's pitch. Hit on the ground to second on one knee, fielded by Jimenez. He waves off Hoffman, who was going to cover, and throws over to first. And he's saying it again. You don't have to go over there. I'm over there. 2 outs.
How about that? Andres Jimenez with a big smile on his face. And an easy play right at him for out number 2.
4 pitches, 2 outs for Jeff Hoffman. James Wood, the last hope for the Nationals. 4-1 Blue Jays, and out away from their first sweep of the year. The pitch. Hit hard up the middle into right center field, a base hit. Hoffman gave him a fastball in the zone, and Wood sent it back at 115 miles an hour up the middle.
Yeah, I don't mind that. You're up by 3 runs. You got 2 quick outs in the inning. You're trying to get ahead with a good fastball. James Wood puts a good swing on that fastball. You let him hit it up the middle. Not a big deal.
Hoffman's fastball has been sitting a little more 96 right now, by the way, than 97, 98, but it is his 4th appearance in 5 days. 2 outs, Nathaniel Lowe at the plate, runner on first. Hoffman kicks and deals. Swinging a liner down the right field line. Base hit rolling toward the corner. Wood around second, headed for third. He's going to get the wave from Ricky Gutierrez. Relay is cut off, and it's an RBI double for Nathaniel Lowe. Now 4-2, and the Nationals will bring the tying run to the plate.
And now is when you have to be a little bit more careful. The tying run is standing in that batter's box, a guy that can go deep if you let him, if you throw a fastball right down the middle. So you have to flip in a breaking ball here. You have to throw a split finger, and you have to locate that fastball just a little bit better.
Josh Bell can tie the game with a swing. The pitch. High and outside, ball 1. For Nathaniel Lowe, that was his 2nd double and 6th RBI of the season in Game 6 for the Nationals. 2 outs to the 1-0. Swinging bunt up the third baseline. Hoffman over to get it. He's going to see if it rolls foul, and it will stay fair. Infield single for Bell. Up to third base goes Lowe. It's the 2nd hit of the season for Bell, and now the tying run on base with the go-ahead run coming to the plate.
That was the right play from Jeff Hoffman and the rest of the Blue Jays players in the infield. Josh Bell would have beat that out if Jeff Hoffman picked that baseball up. It was a perfectly placed hit from Josh Bell. I mean, there's really nothing you can do at that point. Josh Bell looking up to the heavens, thanking him for that hit. Hit number 2 on the season.
Nationals slot in a pinch runner in the place of Bell. It's going to be Jacob Young coming off the bench for Washington with a lot of speed, representing the tying run in this game. Alex Call, the hitter. 1 run in this inning for the Nationals, and Call is the go-ahead run with runners on first and third. 2 outs, Hoffman in the set. A peek at first, and the pitch. Called strike. Guerrero holds on Young at first. Wouldn't be shocked to see Young take off here and try to eliminate a force out. The 0-1. Young goes. Pitches outside a ball. Throw down to second. Got him. Ball game. Tyler Heineman throws out Jacob Young to win it for the Blue Jays. 4-2, the final score, and another save for Jeff Hoffman.
And I was just thinking, as you were saying, that Jacob Young might take off. I was thinking it's a little bit risky. Tyler Heineman has a pretty good arm, and he's been looking good throwing that baseball across the diamond. And sure enough, Jacob Young takes off, and Tyler Heineman throws a seed to second base to end the ball game.
Blue Jays win 4-2 and sweep this series. We'll take a quick step aside. When we come back, we'll recap it and get you over to a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm talking to you! The baseball fan hanging out with us, most preferably a Toronto Blue Jays fan, hanging out with us here at the best live hangout every single game on Toronto Sports Insider. Attention Blue Jays fans, if you are looking for wall-to-wall coverage of every single Toronto Blue Jays game this season, you're at the right place. Real-time reactions, game breakdowns, and all the latest news on our Blue Jays. We're covering every pitch, every home run, every big moment all season long, and we want you here for the ride. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a game, and plus, join in on our live chat streams. Let's make this a Blue Jays season to remember. Go Blue Jays, go. We'll see you in the chat.
Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up, let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
For this life I cannot change. Hit it hills, deep off in the main.
This is George Springer, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
George Springer just got the ice bucket treatment as the Blue Jays wrap up a series sweep and a 4-2 win today over the Washington Nationals. Appreciate you sticking with us. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays talk with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker coming up in just a couple of minutes. Toronto getting a start today from Easton Lucas, looking to fill in the spot that Max Scherzer would have occupied. They bumped up Lucas from Friday to today, and Chris, he did not disappoint.
Well, like we talked about before the game, a guy that only started 13 ball games in the minor leagues and has never started a game at the major league level. We really didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how he would react, and I think that was the most impressive thing for me. It was just the presence on that mound, and then obviously was the fastball command. It was the ability to throw that changeup really in any count. Easton Lucas was incredible. He looked like a guy that's been in the big leagues for 5 or 6 years, not a guy that's never started a big league ball game.
He went 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for Lucas, and he had a pitch count of around 75. He went 5 innings on 74 pitches and did it well. We saw Little, Green, Garcia, Hoffman come into the game after him, but the Blue Jays bats also needed to provide today, and they did early. Anthony Santander had his first extra base hit as a Blue Jay, a double in the first inning. Andres Jimenez would knock him in to put the first run on Mackenzie Gore's line, but Gore was good today. The game stayed close, and the Blue Jays were looking for some separation when George Springer stepped up in the 4th inning for today's play of the game. The 0-1. Swing and a fly ball, deep left field. Wood going back at the warning track. It's gone! First home run of the season for George Springer, and the Blue Jays up their lead to 2-0.
We'll talk about a guy seeing the ball well. He absolutely hammers that thing about 2 inches above that wall. But he'll take it every single time. George Springer swinging at good pitches, making good contact. He looks like he's having fun out there.
And a nice adjustment from Springer, who punched out on a changeup his first time up, hits a changeup out of the yard his second time up.
Well, George Springer is now 9 for 21 on the season, hitting his first home run today. like we talked about, he's really seeing the ball well. He's a different guy out there than he was this time last year, hitting the ball to all fields. And then whenever a pitcher makes a mistake, like Mackenzie Gore did there, he's able to make good contact, barrel it up. And, I mean, he really is having a ton of fun out there.
He had another big day, the home run, also a walk, 2 hits for Tyler Heineman, 3 hits for Miles Straw, including a pair of doubles, and the Blue Jays win it 4-2. Blue Jays baseball presented by Crown Rust Protection. The Nationals scored 2 runs on 5 hits, 1 error. They leave 4 on base. The Blue Jays today with 4 runs on 10 hits, no errors. They leave 9 on base. Easton Lucas with the win, his first of the year and second of his big league career. Mackenzie Gore with the losses now 0-1. And Jeff Hoffman, although there was traffic, picks up his 3rd save in 3 tries. This one took 2 hours and 27 minutes in front of 20,104 who braved the snow and cold in downtown Toronto today to come to the game. The Nationals fall to 1-5 with the loss. The Blue Jays are up to 5-2 heading into the first off day of the season. We'll be back on Friday when the Blue Jays go to Flushing to take on the Mets at Citi Field at 3:10, a Friday matinee. So set your calendars or whatever you need to remind you for that one. 3:10 Eastern is the first pitch for Blue Jays at Mets. It'll be Kevin Gausman against Tyler McGill. For our technical directors, Christian Giannini, Tom Young, and Derek Brandeo, our host and producer, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, and stick around. It's time for a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. It starts right now.
All right, Kevin Barker. Well, there you go. The first sweep of the year for the Toronto Blue Jays. A 4-2 win over the Washington Nationals at the Rogers Center this afternoon. The Jays are now 5-2 this year. As I mentioned, they swept the Washington Nationals, getting a terrific start from Easton Lucas, a start that I would presume, Kevin, he was making it in place of Max Scherzer. I presume that would leave him in position to start again the next time this turn of the rotation comes around, even though it is against the Boston Red Sox.
Well, the Red Sox haven't been good. I mean, if you continue to throw the fastball where you want to throw it and, figure out how to be a little bit better with the changeup, the slider, and the cutter, yeah, why not? I mean, that's what he was doing. His velocity was a little down on the fastball, which, I think maybe might have been on purpose just so he can keep it in the zone, understanding, sort of where they're at, where their pin's at. Sort of, they don't have somebody to follow him up if he only went 2 innings. So, yeah, I mean, this is kind of exactly what the doctor ordered. Do you have any idea whether he can carry this over to his next start against a better lineup? Do you? Because I don't. That's sort of the little bit of the unknown is.
But I will say this.
Is he good enough to face a team like the Red Sox whose lineup is way better than the Nationals?
I will say this, though. I have as much confidence in him doing that as I do Yariel Rodriguez being able to do anything as a starter.
There you go.
So Easton Lucas, again, filling in for Max Scherzer today. Kevin Gausman getting the start on Friday when the Jays go to New York. We said going into the game, maybe, what does he give you, 4 1/3, 4 2/3? You're happy, your bullpen's rested as long as it sets things up. He did. I think he gave us more than we thought.
No question.
Than we thought we were going to get out of Easton Lucas. 5 innings, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks. The Jays winning 4-2 over the Washington Nationals. Lots to talk about. It is our first afternoon Blue Jays talk in the midweek. And as was the case last year, we will be on radio. We'll be joined on TV in a few minutes. The text line is 590-590. Please leave your name and location as well if you want to weigh in on the simple question. I know it was only the Washington Nationals, but look, the Jays are 5-2 on their first homestand. Do you feel any differently about this team? We know all about the drama. Vladdy's not signed yet. We know about Max Scherzer and his thumb. Have no idea what's happening there. Bo's not signed yet. All that good stuff. The power hasn't really materialized yet. Lots of stuff that we thought we'd see, we maybe haven't seen yet. Yeah. But the bullpen's awfully good. The back end of the bullpen is awfully good. They're getting contributions up and down the lineup. You know what? I know it's snowing outside or raining or freezing rain, but Springer has sprung. There's no George Springer home run today. George Springer, if you had to pick an offensive star of this homestand, probably be George Springer.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw Bo in there too, right? Bo's been doing some things offensively, the big hit he got last night. But I'm with you, right? I think it's just clearing the mind and not overthinking it and being ready to hit velocity. I think that for me anyway, the Gore homer off the changeup, I think he's ready to hit. Right? Do you look hitterish? Do you look like actually you can make a decent pass at a baseball if they throw it in the zone that you're looking at and put your A swing on it? And I think consistently here, at least early on, George is able to do that. I think they just simplified it. I know John came on our show and was talking about the little mechanical changes. Okay. I mean, you'd have to really like hone in and really concentrate on what those changes could be. But I think for me anyway, the biggest change is just don't overthink it, right? I mean, they're telling you got one A swing. We've moved you down because we just want to sort of free you up. Just you can be who you are. So hopefully it works out for him. He continues to do this because he's making everybody from the 4 guy on better.
Because we are on TV as well as radio, the number to call in is 416-413-3959. You can leave us a voice note. Again, name and location, please. We will get it on the air. Again, the number 416-413-3959. We're on the air till 6:55 Eastern. So, again, 416-413-3959. The text line is 590-590. The Jays have tomorrow off. They go on to Flushing. I just love saying Flushing. They go on to Flushing to play the New York Mets in a series starting on Friday as they begin a 10-game road swing. As I said, on Friday, Max Scherzer will throw in the bullpen, so maybe we'll get a little update on Max's status there, but he is on the IL in the very least. Easton Lucas is, as we said, will likely stay in this spot in the rotation and make another start. Awfully good relief work today. Yes, Jeff Hoffman gave up a run. Jeff Hoffman's been pretty good in this homestand. Jimmy Garcia, Kevin, 7 pitches.
7 strikes.
Get through his innings. 7 strikes.
Yeah. It's about as good as it gets. Fastballs, I think, command where he wants it to go. The late movement, he can do now whatever he wants to do. He's a little bit more unpredictable because of what the 2 fastballs are doing. Now John can basically use him wherever he wants to use him, right? You can bring him in, put out the fire late in the game. You can bring him in if Hoffman's not ready to pitch the 9th inning. If you want to give Hoffman a break, right, maybe pitch that dude in the 8th inning, give Jimmy the 9th inning just because of who's coming up, because of what Jimmy's doing. If those 2 guys stay healthy, Jeff, I mean, you were mentioning starting the show there just about how a Jays fan should be feeling. Well, it's a 7-inning game now. Yeah. That's how you should feel, right? If you get a decent start, which I don't think anything that you've seen so far would tell you otherwise, from at least most of the guys that are being thrown out there in the rotation. Once you go to the pen, I mean, is there anybody down there other than Brendan Little? The jury's still out on that, whether you want to give him the ball right, bases loaded, facing Soto. Now, again, I mean, that Soto name is, sort of in his own ballpark, but I think that's the point, right? Could he be the only lefty down there to get the other team's best lefty out, biggest part of the game? Not sure I'm on the camp of that just yet, but everybody else, I mean, how can you argue? They've been really good.
Gave up home run to C.J. Abrams. I'm
a bad pitch.
That's the one.
Can't be giving up homers to lefties. I think that's the point, right? Yeah. His job is to dominate lefties. Right now, all the time, he's not doing that.
I think the thing too is, once Eric Swanson gets back, there's going to be some realigning of the bullpen. Sure. And Eric Swanson, because of that splitter, can be effective against lefties.
Yep.
Sandlin as well. Yariel Rodriguez fits in there as well. Chad Green. But one of the things I thought that was kind of interesting is John Schneider joining us on Blair and Barker before the game and talking about Jeff Hoffman and saying, look, yes, Jeff Hoffman pitched in some leverage in Philadelphia last year, but he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the 9th inning guy. And you got the impression that as much as Jeff Hoffman's the closer, but there may be times where they need Jeff Hoffman to give them 2 innings, in which case maybe the next day Jimmy Garcia gets the call to close. Or on the road, maybe you just kind of you don't like the matchup with Jeff Hoffman against whomever. Maybe you bring Jimmy Garcia in to do that. But the big thing for me is you've got a lot of velocity You've got a lot of velocity at the back end of the bullpen.
Well, I think you would like that because you have more options. You didn't have it last year. I mean, last year your bullpen stunk. It's one of the worst 5 in the sport. Now you're not that way. Again, the easier you can make it on your manager and your pitching coach, the better off you are. And for them to have, not so many guys down there you have to pocket. Like there's certain guys, right, that you want to put in that right spot. 2 lefties and a righty, 2 righties and a lefty. We all know their names, but 7, 8, and 9. I think they sort of got that summed up, right? You can put Sandlin in the 7th inning against 2 lefties and a righty and be fine with that. Swanson gets back sort of the same thing with the split finger, and if he's throwing harder, elevating it and can get some swing and miss. So they got tons of options. I do think the Brendan Little, I know Petey is a big fan, Pete Walker, the pitching coach, of him. That's why he's on the team. That's why they're okay throwing him where they're throwing him. I just don't think you can continue seeing him give up homers to lefties. Dive it. Be dominant, right? If it's moving that much, don't allow a guy to get the ball in the air if he's left-handed. That's what you want to see. So other than that, they've been great.
We're joined now by our friends on Sportsnet TV. It is Blue Jays Talk with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. Off the heels of a 4-2 Blue Jays win, the Jays sweeping their 3-game series with the Washington Nationals. The Jays are now 5-2 this season. They have tomorrow off. They go into New York on Friday to take on the Mets. This is how we do it on the midweek afternoon versions of Blue Jays Talk. The number to call, 416-413-3959. Leave a voice note, name and location, please. We'll get you on air. If you want to text us, we're always here to take your texts. 590-590 is the text line. Again, name and location and standard data and message rates may apply. We will hear from the skipper, John Schneider. I would imagine we might be able to hear from Easton Lucas as well. And once we get those clips, we will get them on the air. But again, this is your show. And, John Schneider is talking. We will go to the manager of the Blue Jays, John Schneider. I think we'll go to John Schneider. John?
Deke?
Maybe not.
At 25
There he
homers,
is.
so he understands kind of his role and how he fits into the lineup 1 through 9. If the opportunity presents itself, he's good at it. That's one of his skills. So I like that he took advantage of it.
John, after the performance today by Easton, where do you think his future lies? Does it give you more options? Do you think he'll stick around here?
I mean, we've liked him since we've acquired him, and I think an outing like today, does nothing but boost our confidence in him, and hopefully it boosts his confidence in himself. We were joking. I forget who I was. I think I was talking to Hazel. He said to kind of describe Easton Lucas for people that don't know him. He might be nicer than Mark Budzinski, which is saying a lot. He's one of the most even-keeled, just happy guys that I've met. So hopefully this outing gives him some confidence. And he understands that he can pitch at this level. So however I think we need to use him, we're going to. And I'm just pumped that he got the win today.
John, you mentioned the little things. What would you attribute this team being able to do them maybe a little bit better than last year so far?
I think talking about it a lot, right? I mean, when you try to set out to just put winning at the forefront, it takes a lot for Bo to say, hey, I'm just going to move you over here. Knowing I'm getting a sinker in and I'm going to move you over and get a runner at third for Vlad. It takes a lot, and it sometimes it clicks more often than not, but the guys have bought into it, I think, and that's pretty cool. And understanding that there's going to be times where a couple games in a row they're not going to play, but they're going to be ready, and we're going to use them accordingly. So it's been fun to continue those conversations that started in spring training, and when you talk about it a lot, when you practice it every day a lot, in batting practice, it kind of just becomes a habit.
And with George, obviously he scuffled a fair bit last year. How did he handle that personally and mentally? And I guess along with that, how has he persevered to get to where he is today?
Yeah, I think knowing that he's been one of the most dynamic players in the league for the majority of his career. I think going through last year and then talking through him throughout the winter and in spring training, he did a lot of self-reflecting and probably worried about some things he didn't need to worry about last year. And when you do that, I think it kind of just frees you up, right? So not the best spring training in terms of numbers, and he's at the point in his career where numbers don't mean a damn thing, especially in spring training. So I think just understanding kind of what he's good at and understanding that he's here to help us win went a long way. You know, him and I have had some cool conversations about that. Now it's just a matter of maintaining it throughout the season.
This was the first time we saw Jeff Hoffman bend a little bit. What was different today after 2 outs than the other 2 outings?
It's weird. Every outing from a closer is a little bit weird, right? It's 2 outs on 6 pitches, I think, and threw a heater to Wood there, and then another one to Lowe, and all of a sudden you're in a little bit of a red light situation. You go from green light to red light. I don't think anything was different. I thought he executed the fastball well for the first strikeout, and it's things can change quick in the 9th inning. So I thought he adjusted well, and it was a tremendous throw from Heine.
Yeah, that was what I was going to follow up with. I mean, we talked yesterday about Jacob Young and how fast he is. I think everybody in the ballpark knew he was going, but this is not what Tyler Heineman is especially known for, especially a guy like that. What did you see in everything that Heineman did on the way to making that throw?
For one, it starts with Hoff being quick enough to the plate. I think him being kind of I don't want to say converted starter. He's been a reliever for a while, but he does a really good job with the running game, and not every closer does that. So giving Heine a chance, I think Heine has gotten, he's always had a very quick exchange, and he's improved his arm strength too. So with that play, everything kind of has to sync up. If Hoff doesn't give him a chance, he can make the best throw of his life, and he's going to be safe. So from Hoff to Heine to Himmy with the tag, everything kind of synced up.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was John Schneider, manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, talking about the tail end of that, talking about how the game ended. Jeff Hoffman giving up a run, 3 hits. Getting out of it, though, Kevin, Tyler Heineman throwing out, I believe it was Jacob Young.
Yep.
To end the game. Your thought about running in that situation, Jacob Young?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, you're bottom of the order. If you're the Nationals, the hitter's behind in the count. You brought a runner in who's been playing, who's really fast, right? I mean, that's sort of the whole point in bringing Jacob Young is to run the bases the right way. I think you put pressure on a closer. I mean, John mentioned there that Hoffman is, better than most, I think, in the 9th inning of holding runners and, not saying slide step, but be quicker to the plate. I know Heineman looked to me like he was up on his toes. He was expecting that, right? It's that one knee thing with the other leg spread out. Just looked to me like you could tell he was peaking. You could feel it that he was trying to go to put a little pressure on the defense to make the play and put that extra runner, tying run in scoring position. So all around, I didn't mind it. That's what you do. Nationals not a very good team. You're trying to figure out if you're the organization who can do what, when they can do it. Bottom of the order makes a ton of sense. Put pressure on a catcher to make a perfect throw. That's exactly what happened.
416-413-3959. Louise in Moncton. You're on
Just
Blue
wondering how you guys felt about John Schneider using Hoffman this often, this early. Will it do him any harm? Thank you.
Louise, I mean, it was a safe situation. He is your closer right now. I wasn't surprised to see Jeff Hoffman in. They've got a day off tomorrow. Who knows what the weather's going to be like in New York. I mean, no, it didn't surprise me at all, although, Kevin, as we talked about, I think there will be times this year where we may see Jimmy Garcia get the 9th inning, and we may see Jeff Hoffman, if it matches up properly, we may see Jeff Hoffman coming in the 8th inning of a game as well. But no, I think at this time, you know what? You don't fool around with stuff. You got a chance to sweep a team. You're comfortable with. I mean, let's face it. You're comfortable with the opponent. Yeah, I had no problem with Jeff Hoffman going in there at all.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, they've used all their high leverage guys in the same game because they have a day off tomorrow. I mean, that's what you do. You're trying to sweep a team that you should be sweeping. Like the Nationals are not very good. John knows the schedule just like everybody else does with the Blue Jays, so I love it. You got to win when you win.
Easton Lucas was the starting pitcher today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Outstanding outing. Why do you think your fastball at the top of the zone worked so well today?
I don't know. It always does. Something I've been, able to do throughout my career, and mostly it's just I have to command it at the top of the zone and able to throw it there when I want to. And so, yeah, I was able to do it today, and it works. I don't know why.
What other pitches were working for you?
The changeup was a little inconsistent, but like when I needed it, it was there for me. And then the slider was there. My sweeper was a little bit hit or miss, but yeah, fastball changeup mostly.
And what did Tyler Heineman do behind the plate that helped you guys this afternoon?
He's like really, really good. Yeah, he kind of, as soon as I, threw my bullpen, he was immediately like knew where to set up in order to help me get to the spots I need to get. And yeah, he does a great job back there of like being confident and helping you out when you need it.
John was talking about how you kind of hope that a start like this would help boost your confidence as well. I mean, how validating can an outing like that be when you get immediate results?
It's awesome. Yeah. I know that, I have the stuff for it, but last year the results were tough. So being able to come out here and throw my fastball by guys and do it even without the best off-speed command, I was super happy and excited.
Did you make changes to your changeup in the offseason? Was that?
Yes. Yeah, I kind of stopped throwing it. I had... last year I was tweaking and fiddling with it the whole year. Kind of got with Graham, our bullpen coach, and this offseason kind of worked on throwing a one-seam, seam-shifted changeup, and it's been great.
So was that when you kind of went into spring training? Was it the wheels were kind of already in motion there? Was it kind of like
yeah
at that point? Or?
Yep, I'd been throwing it in catch for the whole couple months in the off-season, and then just getting it off the mound and having it be something I can throw to locations where I want and knowing where I need to target it in order to throw it for a strike.
So how much more are you in that pitch now than maybe you were points last year?
A lot. Yeah, last year it was kind of my fourth pitch that I threw if everything else wasn't working, and didn't feel like I could throw it in late counts and stuff. And this year it's a weapon for me that I'm going to use a lot.
What did it mean to you? Sorry, what does it mean to you that you're a guy picked up on waivers, kind of a 28th man on the roster last year, that you have the big league bullpen coach working with you in the offseason?
It's awesome. Yeah, I kind of was lucky to be able to live near the PDC in the offseason and got to go in there all year, or all offseason, and use the resources they had, and it's amazing. That facility's probably the best in baseball that I've seen, and it's incredible.
I'm guessing you have to be all business out there, but did you get a chance to enjoy?
Oh yeah. No, every time I kind of have to stop myself from smiling when I have in between innings, because got to keep working and it's not over until you're done. And they tell you you're done for the day. But yeah, it was so fun.
Further to that, obviously an important spot for the team given what's going on with the rotation.
Yeah,
a really important spot for you. What was your level of nerves, or were you just pretty confident going into it?
I had a lot of nerves kind of this morning, and then got to the field, had the meeting with the coaches, and then settled in a little bit at like noon or so, and then got jittery like right before the bullpen. But once I was going to work, it kind of you gotta settle in, and yeah, that's kind of the biggest takeaway I've had this spring is when I try to do too much, I have issues. So it was kind of just trying to go out there and command and throw where I want to instead of like trying to throw it by guys.
Easton, when 2020 happened, you're going to lose that season, and then you're not a starter anymore after that. Did you just think about sort of the road to get back to actually having made your first major league start today? Like, did you feel like this might not come because of how that early part of the career played out?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of was just how it worked, and I was happy to be with the Orioles and go to the High A Aberdeen, and so I was happy, in any role that I could. But I did enjoy starting, and I was a little sad that I didn't get to keep doing that. But I was, super excited when at the end of last year they were telling me, we'd like to build you up and have you able to go long and potentially start. And I was like, that'd be awesome. I really like that role.
The Blue Jays were telling you that they would like to have you start. Well, did they say this is why we think you can start? Like, did they give you a sort of breakdown of what they liked about your repertoire that they felt would translate within the business?
I don't think so. I mean, they have their reasons and stuff. They asked me if I liked it or not, because that's a big factor, is if the guy actually wants to start. But yeah, I think I had struggled out of the pen, and that's definitely was a factor. But I also, in AAA, I was doing really well. They wanted to extend me as a length option out of the pen anyway, and so they were like, "Yeah, might as well have you start in AAA games and get a longer build-up," and that just kind of naturally transitioned.
John said quietly behind closed doors you guys were discussing the possibility that you might start today.
Yeah.
Did that make things harder because you weren't sure? Like, how did your routine, like, how did you deal with that?
All right, that was Easton Lucas, starting pitcher for the Blue Jays today. And, Kevin, we talked about it. The Washington Nationals are not a great lineup. But, he did what he had to do. He did what the Jays needed him to do.
Yeah, I like the way he answered the thing about he wasn't trying to throw it by people, because you looked at his velocity, it was down. Across the board, it was down on all of his pitches. That would explain why, right? He's trying to locate it more than throw it by people. And that's
a smart decision.
Well, it's not the easiest thing to do. You're trying to impress. You want your next start. This is your first start in the big leagues. That's not the easiest thing to do. Good for him and good for Tyler Heineman to sort of get on the same page, get through it, and give the lineup a chance.
Yeah, Tyler Heineman's had a couple of nice jobs behind the plate so far this year.
And he made Yariel Rodriguez look pretty good, too, which is a giant deal.
Yep. 590 is the text line. We were talking about the Blue Jays' 4-2 win over the Washington Nationals this afternoon at the Rogers Center. The Jays are now 5-2 as they head off to New York. Josh in Oshawa reached out to us on the text line. At what point does Ernie Clement get benched for base running issues? Josh, if only you had been sitting in the room with Chris Black, one of our Blue Jays Central producers, Kevin Barker, and myself, when Ernie ran through a stop sign at third base.
Yeah.
It's the second time he was picked off a couple of days ago, little lollipop.
Bases loaded, nobody out.
Bases loaded.
Yeah.
Kevin, I know this drives you around the bend.
It does.
John Schneider, I've talked about it. Guys don't get benched anymore. I'm sure John Schneider or DeMarlo Hale or whomever it is, or Carlos Feliz, somebody probably talked to Ernie.
Yeah.
But guys just don't get benched for that anymore.
They don't, but I think you can send a message in certain ways. And I don't know how that would be. You close the door, you call them in, you say enough's enough. Like, you show them examples. You say, is this the way you need to go out and be your best and look your best and represent for the organization? Absolutely not. You can't run with your head down like you're a little leaguer, like you've never ran the bases before. He's done that twice. Bases loaded, nobody out. You're doing that. Today with, your third base coach obviously holding you up with Bo Bichette coming up with less than 2 outs. That's the whole point in putting Bo and Vladdy and Santander in the top 3 spots, is to have them come up with the bases loaded in less than 2 outs. So there's no excuse for it. Benching is a bit strong this time of the year, but I think there will come a time where enough's enough, especially with the way Wagner is having his at-bats and the baseball IQ that he has.
Yeah, that's...
There's competition there. So Ernie, quite frankly, needs to be better. Period.
You've got Wagner, who's a left-handed hitter, who's going to play
a lot.
So I think there are ways of sending that. I just don't think you bench guys anymore. It's not like, I'm sure Ernie realizes that he's made those 2 mistakes. He did have the sacrifice fly today. He did play a pretty good game defensively. If this was something that Ernie did time and time again, if it becomes a habit, then maybe I can see it. But you just don't bench guys anymore. If you were going to bench guys, David Schneider wouldn't be seen.
Remember too, I know he had a really good year last year, but he's a 22nd, 23rd guy on your roster.
Yeah.
It's not like he's top 10 on your roster, right? I know offensively he'll give you something with the way he covers, quadrants against the fastball, the way he plays defensive third. He's the right-handed option, obviously, with Wagner, that you can sort of mix and match the way you want to. He's fighting for playing time. Let's be honest. You're trying to do things early in seasons to impress. They understand the urgency. They're in win mode. They really are. It's everything you're going to try and do to win a baseball game, because April now matters for this team. So, that's a combination of a bunch of things. But again, it's the big leagues. Run the bases like you're a big leaguer. Head up is an option. When in doubt, go one base. Okay, scoreboard and where you're at in the order and who's coming up will tell you everything you need to know. It's real simple.
The Toronto Blue Jays have swept the Washington Nationals, a 4-2 win at the Rogers Center this afternoon. We're going to take a break, come back on the other side with your texts. 590-590 is the text line, and your calls, 416-413-3959. Name and location, please. It's Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and Sportsnet.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Sportsnet Plus is the streaming home of the Blue Jays.
Oh, what a catch!
Stream over 150 Blue Jays games all season long.
You won't see this anywhere else.
Including pre- and post-game coverage with Jamie and Joe on Blue Jays Central.
One of the best in the game right here.
Watch all the Blue Jays action wherever you are, at home or on the go.
Don't you love baseball?
Plans start from $24.99 a month.
We are good to go.
Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center.
Cheers, baseball fans. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, chatting it up, having a good time, keeping it classy while we cheer on our Toronto Blue Jays this 2025 season. Please take a look at the link that is pinned in the chat for the SickKids Bracket Mania campaign that we are running through the March Madness tournament, which is almost over. The Final Four is coming up, and we are going to have a lot of fun celebrating whoever wins those matchups to take home the title, cutting down the nets at the Final Four in San Antonio. We appreciate you being here, baseball fans. I just wanted to give a big shout out to the mods as well for their work in the chats, especially with the Bracket Mania campaign. We really appreciate you knocking out all those bots that are so annoying and messing up our chat while we're trying to just chat it up and keep it classy. Wrenches, you rock. We'll see you back in the chat. Let's go, Blue Jays.
Sale. Everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball hit to center field. Varsho with a dive, and he makes the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
All right, welcome back to Blue Jays Talk with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. The Toronto Blue Jays have won 5 of their first 7 games to start the season. Kevin Barker, do you remember the last time that happened?
2011.
How the hell did you know that?
First time I've listened to you all day during the break.
2011, the last time the Blue Jays
How
won
did they
5 of the
finish?
first 7. I don't even remember. 2011, who cares? That was before 2015. Nothing happened before 2015.
Great point. Other than those 2 World Series. That's a great point.
Absolutely.
If you're not first, you're last. Isn't that what they say, Jeff?
Something like that. 416-413-3959, the back leg line. We are taking your calls. 590-590 is the text line. Standard message and data rates may apply. We are taking your text. Name and location in both instances, please. Time now to take a look around Major League Baseball with Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet. You can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. I'm not going to look at the standings today. I'm going to look at the...
Why not?
I'm going to look at the salaries. Salary list today, the contracts, because contracts are a big deal.
I know what you're doing.
You know, on Boone.
Oh, yeah.
The 3 significant deals signed today. The Diamondbacks and Ketel Marte agreed to a $106 $18.5 million extension through 2031. The Boston Red Sox like what they see from their prospect Christian Campbell so much. They gave him an 8-year, $60 million deal.
60 large.
60 large, not bad for a guy with, 5 games in the majors, whatever.
Have a good spring training.
Why not? It's just money. And the San Diego Padres have finalized a 9-year extension with Jackson Merrill. It is a 9-year, $135 million extension that carries a club option for 2035. So,
why are you bringing this up for,
Jeff?
Jeff?
Just because there's 2 organizations that are locking up key cornerstone players. And, that is...
What's your point, Jeff?
It's just a bit of a thing. No, listen.
There's a point you're trying to make. What is it?
The point I'm trying to make is...
Say it.
I don't even want to see... You know what? It's like water. The Jays didn't do this with Vladdy and Bo. It's water under the bridge. But all I'm saying is because Vladdy and Bo and their contracts are an issue, when some of us come on and say, if these guys had done a deal with these guys 4 or 5 years ago or 3 years ago, we wouldn't be having this. I mean, we're not just blowing smoke. It does happen with other organizations. That's all I'm saying. Other organizations have done it. That's all I'm saying.
Do the opposite of what the Jays are doing. That's what your point is?
What they did. It's water under the bridge. I'm just pointing it out, though.
Makes sense. Cheaper.
Nothing's guaranteed in Major League Baseball.
No.
Nothing's guaranteed in Major League Baseball.
But it's nice to save a buck.
Everybody likes saving money. Trevor in Toronto reached out on the back leg line.
Just had 2 comments. One, I think Miles Straw should be the Blue Jays' everyday center fielder until he proves that he just can't do the job. He hit .400 this spring. He's a Gold Glove center fielder. He puts the ball in play, has good speed, and is familiar playing the outfield with George Springer when they played in Houston. The second comment, David Schneider's got to go to the minors. He needs to prove that he's a big league hitter, and right now he's not showing it.
Well, there you go, Trevor. Appreciate the call. Yeah, you know what? We're going to talk about Miles Straw, who had himself a game today. But let's go to George Springer right now. He's also had himself a game.
Oh yeah. I don't want to not have a good swing. I think last year and some times in spring I kind of got myself into trouble. Not kind of taking the swing that I want to take. But now every game it's about having my kind of stuff I need to do beforehand, and then getting in the box and getting my A swing off.
George, a special performance by your pitcher today, Easton. What did you think of his showing?
That was awesome. It was huge. He gave us everything that we needed. And a performance like that, is huge, especially just one for him, but especially for us as a team.
George, you've been around long enough to ride the highs and lows, and you've seen a lot of things, but how much does confidence play into performance when you feel confident at the plate?
Yeah, I mean, if you feel good, hopefully you can play good. And I think, for whoever it is, to see the ball hit the grass is obviously fun. To have a positive, hit result, always it does guys good. It does get hard at times, I think, to trust the process, but that's kind of the beauty of the game is you have to believe in your process and know that eventually kind of stuff will start to play out over the course of 162 plus games.
How gratifying for you is it then that you're off to a solid start?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the goal for every hitter. You don't want to look up at the scoreboard and not see anything good. But I think at the end of the day, it's just 1 week. I think guys, understand it's about the long haul, but it's also, do what you can do in the moment and you move on.
Describe the impact that getting contributions from up and down the lineup has had on you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think you see it. Guys are getting guys over. We're getting guys in. Getting on base. We're getting hits. I think the at bats have been very well. Have been great, and I think anytime top to bottom can string together multiple at bats in an inning is huge.
The way you're seeing it, like what's your sense of how you guys are pressuring teams 1 through 9 this year, maybe compared to a year ago?
Oh, I don't know. I just think guys as a whole are just doing what they need to do individually, but playing within the constructs of our team, knowing what needs to be done. I think there's a lot of selflessness. There's guys that are willing, or should I say all of us, are fully expected to, if there's a guy on base and he needs to get to second base somehow, or if, he's on second, he needs to get to third. And I think if you take that mentality, you obviously see that the at-bats I feel like have been great, and, stuff is just starting to unfold.
Thanks, Fergie.
Yep.
Thanks, Fergie.
Yep.
George Springer speaking after pretty good homestand for him. We talked about exit. It's not just that he's hitting the ball hard. It's that he's also hitting good pitches hard. But today as well, he made a nice adjustment on that on the home run.
Yeah, I think he's ready to hit velocity, which is a big deal, right? You saw him early on, I think in spring training. That's why spring training was really bad, is he was in between a lot.
Yep.
Like, when do I lift my leg? When do I get my foot down? When does it just give myself a chance to lock into the slot that I want my hands in to throw the barrel at whatever quadrant the baseball's in? And it just looks to me like the more he did it, the better he got at it. Now he's gaining confidence. He's not overthinking it. He goes up there, gets a good pitch to hit, puts his A swing on it, and he goes where it ultimately wants to go. So good for him. He's the reason why we talk about Wagner and Roden at the back end of a game being able to lay the bunt down.
Yeah.
If Springer and Jimenez and Kirk weren't off to good starts, we wouldn't be praising the Tokies.
Oh, God, no.
Because they wouldn't be doing it.
No.
So good for everybody.
Yeah.
How's
No,
that?
we would not
I gave
be-
him love for the bunts.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. Trevor in Toronto, we took your question before we went to George Springer, talking about Miles Straw, who had himself a game today. Couple of hits. I was on base 3 times. We know that he's a Gold Glove. We know that he's a Gold Glove outfielder. We get that. That's his history. Scored a run, I should say, as well.
Yeah.
That's his history. He is a Gold Glove. He's a Gold Glove outfielder. Look, Dalton Varsho isn't coming here anytime soon, we don't think. It sounds like middle of next week he's going to start, or middle of the month he's going to start throwing in games.
Yep.
So my guess is if you see him around the 1st of May, maybe the last week of April, maybe that's best case scenarios for Dalton Varsho. So until then, for me, it's basically, the decision is this. Does Alan Roden give you enough that you keep him up here? Can you get enough at bats for him? He is a lefty hitter.
Sure.
Can you get enough at bats for him? Davis Schneider, again, Davis Schneider's saving grace right now is that he's a right-handed hitter.
Yep.
And then you have Miles Straw, who's also a right-handed hitter. And listen, Davis Schneider has to hit left-handed pitching. He has to give me a power option off the bench to hit left-handed pitching. If he doesn't do that, then Kevin, I'm taking Miles Straw because I can play him in right. I can play him in center. Yeah, he's not going to replace Dalton Varsho when he comes back. But hey, what if Dalton Varsho's shoulder is a little sore and they decide they're going to DH Dalton Varsho one day?
Put George Springer in center?
I'd rather have Miles Straw in center.
You would?
And George in right.
Yeah, I think they have options. I'm not sure what the right answer there is. I think they're taking the hottest bat.
Plus,
think
he also makes $11 million.
Yeah, you got to remember how they're trying to get Roden and Wagner and Santander in the game all at the same time, right? You're trying to stack as many lefties and those competitive at-bats as you could possibly get. I think they're thinking that when it comes to that competitive at-bat, Miles Straw, I don't know where they're ranking him, but it ain't at the top, right? No. And I think defense is not what their biggest priority is, especially early in the season when they're trying to score more runs, when they ain't hitting homers. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that's what they're thinking.
Right now, what does Davis Schneider give you?
Well, it's funny you said that because this is what I wanted to bring up to you because the caller was asking something about whether you should send him down or not. This is what I say to you right now. And I'm going to say this as nicely as I can because I love Davis Schneider. I've had conversations with, this. I try.
Great story.
He's a tremendous dude, and I root for him. But he had 144 strikeouts last year. He hit 191 in 397 at-bats. He punched out 144 times in 397 at-bats. He's had 7 at-bats in 2025. He struck out 4 times. There's got to be one of them aha moments from the organization where it's basically how do we continue to run him out there?
Yeah.
Offensively, when it comes to being competitive, John talks about that all the time. He even in spring training, I don't even remember exactly the way he was saying it, but he was basically selling it to us and our show and the people that listen to us.
Wasn't it move the ball forward or something like that? He was talking about Miles Straw.
He was talking about George Springer because, I was talking about the
He also
lineup.
mentioned
How I am.
Miles Straw, too.
Absolutely. But that is where you start.
Yeah.
He even mentioned Davis Schneider in that. And look, it's performance driven. It's the big leagues.
Yeah.
Like it's not a development league. Like they're not trying to give guys longer leashes. How much longer can the leash be with Davis? Until it's actually, what do you want from him? Do you want him to go up and take 3 Big Daddy hacks and go sit down? Or do you want him to shorten up, make an adjustment with his lower half, think right center, stay on top of a baseball, look like he done it before?
That's my point. This is not a small sample size.
It's not.
It's
That's why I wanted to read those stats.
Yeah, and my point with Miles Straw is if I'm going to keep one of those two guys, if Davis Schneider isn't giving me the power against left-hand, he doesn't give me anything else. He gives me nothing else.
No.
I will take the guy that I can put out there. I'll take the guy who can steal some bases. I'll take the guy that, can put the ball in play. And here's the thing about Miles Straw as well. Spring training is spring training is spring training. But he had a good spring. And he has continued it over.
You know what's killed Davis too is Will Wagner's here. He can play second.
Yes.
They've moved Santander and George Springer to left. If Davis Snyder's not hitting, where's he playing?
The other option,
then why would he play?
Chris Black pointing out too, and we got to mention this. Nathan Lucas as well is a possibility.
Again, we're talking about the 25th and 26th guy on your team.
But that's still a decision you're going to have to make at some time.
It is. I just don't know what the right answer is. I think, you keep winning, you'll have a little time for it to play out. But I do think this year, with the way they're handling all of these situations and the way we talk to John and the way he answers it, it's about winning and it's performance driven.
Yeah.
And if you don't perform, I don't think you're going to be here much longer. So how's that? You're rushing me, but.
Yeah, no, we got some calls. I want to get to Dino in High Park.
Dino.
Listen, we can't sign Vlad to a 15-year, $600 million year or something similar like that. His agency being in town has me nervous that they're going to make a huge mistake with this guy. First of all, you can't spend that much money on a first baseman. He's a great player, but that would be a recipe for disaster. Kevin, you've made this point a bunch of times. When the lights are the brightest, Vlad tightens up. It happens time and time again. Some guys have ice in their veins. He is not that guy. I like having him on the team. Again, great player, and we should have locked him up a few years ago, but we didn't. You can't chase your mistakes with more mistakes.
Well,
that's what giving this contract would do.
Dino, that's a great phrase. I disagree only because of this, because this front office hasn't shown me that they would be able to find somebody to replace Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at any cost. Kyle Tucker isn't coming here.
Nope.
You wouldn't. So if you don't sign Bo and you don't sign Vladdy, yeah, you're replacing a lot. And again, you're not going to trade for that commodity. You're not. Elvis Martinez isn't going to come up here and solve the issue. Arjun Namala, your best position prospect, he's a few years away. But the caller's point is right. It's in hindsight, the Jays made a mistake not signing Vladdy earlier and not signing Bo
Maybe they
earlier,
don't feel that way.
But okay, but I'm saying 90% of baseball would say that you made a mistake.
I'm in your camp, but I don't think they feel that way.
It's hard to find somebody in baseball who agrees with that assessment.
Yeah,
somebody
I'm
else
not
in
disagreeing
baseball
with
who
you.
agrees.
Yeah.
So and I think the caller's point is, you made a mistake. Don't
make it a bigger
magnify
one.
the mistake by making a worse one.
I just don't think they can let both of them go. You got to sign one of them.
Now
that's my point. That's my opinion.
Let's go to Dave and Barry, his call, because these two kind of tie together. Dave and Barry called us on the back leg line.
Just wanted to ask if the talking heads were all done dissing Bo Bichette. He's got the Mitch Marner complex of baseball, and I just wondered your thoughts on that.
Dave, the reason I wanted to bring your call on is I have talked about this. We talked about this among ourselves. It gets interesting if Bo continues his start and Bo's hitting 300 and playing good defense.
Yeah.
And the team is winning, and he's Bo. And, we're seeing the guy that was, chirping Michael Soroka for throwing inside to him and was, slapping his hands. We got the first base and all that and showing some emotion. If he gets there and Vladdy just kind of stays the Vladdy we saw in the first half of last year, the dialogue in this city amongst fans, it gets interesting all of a sudden. And at some point, maybe you say, we're not going to get Vladdy done.
Yeah.
We haven't got Vladdy done so far. It's not going to happen. Fans are going to be upset.
Sure.
Do we make the fans happy by pivoting, signing Bo to a contract? It's not going to cost you as much to sign Bo.
Yeah.
You get a guy who, we asked this question, we were talking during the game. Say you give Bo a 7-year contract.
Yeah.
Of those years, and, presuming he stays healthy, of those years, 7-year contract, how many years do you think Bo would give you 200 hits? Potentially.
4 to 5.
4 to 5 of those years.
Yeah.
More than half of that contract.
Oh, you would think.
You'd get pretty good value from Bo.
You would think you know what you're getting. He's predictable.
And he's probably not going to fall off the face of the earth.
Well, he's got a pretty good approach thinking right field all the time.
I'm just saying, I'm with you. I think you got to sign one of those two guys.
I do too.
And at some point, if you're not getting there with Vladdy, maybe you pivot to Bo. And I just... The Bo Vladdy Blue Jay dynamic has always been interesting because everybody's always thought Vladdy wants to stay here. Vladdy was born in Canada, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. He says he wants to stay here. Bo is Bo can be a little reserved at times. He can, kind of give you the impression.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And yet, he's the guy they signed the 3-year contract with to carry him through arbitration. The guy that loves it here, the guy that they love has had to go year to year with the organization, went to arbitration once, or went to an arbitration hearing once. So it's a complicated situation, but if you sign Bo, I think in some ways you placate a little bit of the fan base. And then you got Bo and Andres Jimenez is 26 years old. So now all of a sudden you got Bo and Jimenez, middle of your diamond. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, you got Dalton Varsho signed too.
You could take a run at that. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely you could. And you got Santander here for a couple of years. And then
nothing's coming in your organization from below. But you got to have somebody to hang your hat on, right? To sell it to other, free agents coming here. Like, look, I think it would be an easier sale. I think the president's right. It's about winning first. But man alive, you gotta have some reason for fans to want to come and buy jerseys for the players they like, right? And if Vladdy leaves, who's really popular, who else is there?
Okay,
because there are half the pitching staff's leaving soon.
But here's the thing, and Mark Shapiro would say this, and I agree with him. Individual players don't sell tickets. We had Carlos Delgado here, best homegrown hitter the organization's had until these two have come along and sell tickets.
Didn't win a bunch.
Roy Halladay was here.
Not winning a lot.
Didn't win a lot.
No.
Winning teams sell tickets.
Yeah.
Star players alone don't sell tickets. So I agree with that. But again, I get back to this. Star players and winning teams, that's what you want. That's a combination you want.
Yeah, well.
And I don't think people are convinced. Like if this team had won a playoff series or two and the organization had made some moves, maybe signed another significant, free agent position player.
You've seen it play out and it's worked.
Yeah, then they could go to the fans and go, you know what? We'd love to have Vladdy. We're not going to get this done.
Trust us. You've seen it before.
We've seen this before. We can fill the gap.
Yeah.
And then fans, you're going to have fans that are going to bitch and whine because people like Vladdy.
Yeah.
But then you're also going to have fans going, okay, you guys, the track record's there. But that's the thing. The track record is not there.
Make a playoffs. They make the playoffs this year, win a series, let Vladdy go. You think that's okay?
Yes.
There you go. Bing, bang, boom. Solve every problem would be solved by winning a playoff series.
Yes. Would you?
Yeah, I'm still in the camp of if you love Vladdy that much, you'd have signed him already. I'm in that camp, so I think you try and make a run at Bo. You got to sign one of the two. You got to have somebody to hang your hat on. Shortstops that can hit. Don't grow on trees. And there's a reason why the Dodgers, the Padres, any team, the Braves, any team that's good goes out and spends money on superstars because you need them.
Let me ask you.
You just do. Reality.
Do you think?
See what the Red Sox are doing.
Do you think it would be easier for Bo to change what the front office thinks of him, that it would be easier for him to do that than Vladdy.
Hitting will change their mind, I think. Simple.
Yeah. Charlie in Peterborough, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
I'm just wondering, we have these slow starts from Guerrero and Santander, so to speak. I mean, Vladdy they were a bit better today, but at what point do you start to say, and I know he's a notoriously slow starter, Santander, but at what point do you start to say, okay, this is getting bad? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Great sweep.
You don't.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't. If he don't hit, you ain't going nowhere. How's that?
Yeah, and you've also got to keep in mind he is a power hitter. He's not the type of guy where you're going to look up and go, yeah, he doesn't have any home runs, but he's hitting 295.
He's a pull power hitter. Big difference. He don't use the entire field. He ain't letting it travel. He ain't fighting off breaking balls. He's trying to get the head out and hit you to the moon. You have to swing at certain pitches. Why do you think they're throwing elevated fastballs to him? It's hard to catch that thing out front at 98. And it's elevated. If you're left-handed with a little natural uppercut in your swing, so you don't. If he don't hit, they ain't going nowhere. How's that?
It's Blue Jays Talk with Jeff Blair. Yeah, great question. It's Blue Jays Talk with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. The Blue Jays are 5-2 after sweeping the Washington Nationals.
Told you records matter.
It's the Nationals. Just
who cares?
Keep.
Well, they split with the Orioles.
Keep a lid on it a bit. Clifton in Etobicoke reached out to us on the text line. Is there a world where George Springer has a good year and becomes the subject of extension talk next season?
Chance.
Thank you, Clifton. If there is a world, it ain't in this world.
Not a chance. We love you, Clifton, but
no,
not a chance. Is that nice? We said that nicely.
Yeah.
What's a good year? Clifton, text us back and tell us what a good year is. I'll ask you. What's a good year for George Springer? 25?
What did he do last year?
70? 19 and 50 something.
What was his
I have
average
to look it up. Keep talking.
I mean, I would go 15 to 20 home runs, someplace in that range. I mean, I don't even know in terms of, I'm thinking of OPS or
220, 19, 56, and OPS is 674 with 16 stolen bases.
What would you take an OPS?
2020?
Would you take an OPS?
2020. 20 stolen bases, 20 homers.
Yeah, OPS of what?
Play
7?
decent defense.
Would you take an OPS of?
Hit sixth. I don't care. Hit sixth, hit 20 homers.
Yeah.
Still 20 stolen bases.
And you know what? And play good defense.
Yeah.
Continue to play good defense. And I'll have a spot for you. But
I think his on-base percentage needs to go up. That's what I think. Walk more.
Yeah, but I mean, the given where this organization is now, they won't. There's no way they would. I don't think they would entertain an extension. Listen, I still think if George Springer has a good year this year, Clifton, that you'll lend him. You may end up seeing him being moved at some point or traded with a year left.
Yeah, his on-base percentage last year was 303. How'd that go up to about mid 300s? That's a good season. 2020, mid 300s.
But yeah,
play decent defense.
Yeah,
play center when he has to. I don't like him in center, but
no, I prefer him in right field.
I do too. But when he's hitting, and you got to stick him there because you're trying to get everybody else on the field, I go for it.
Well, right now without Dalton Varsho, he could play center field. But when Dalton Varsho's back,
it'll be intriguing to see how all of that plays out.
Yeah.
There's not enough spots to go around for everybody.
But I would also caution people that when Dalton Varsho comes back, there's a pretty good chance he's going to dive after a ball, and that shoulder's going to start to hurt, and he may not be able to play for a couple of games. He may need the DH, so they're going to need some outfield depth. But, I just play good defense for me in right field. I'm not worried about George's contract. This team's got a $250 million payroll.
We knew it was going to look this way.
Yeah, this is not a surprise.
No.
This is, anybody who's surprised by where it is.
Yeah.
Hasn't been paying attention. But I mean, I don't think there's any world where you would bring George Springer back.
Just help and don't hurt. How's that?
And also tell you something. I don't know if there's a world where George Springer. I think when this contract's over, I think George Springer's going to call it a day.
I think he's handled it well, right? I mean, John came out right out the gate and said he ain't leading off for us.
No.
He's led off for a long time. He's done a lot in the leadoff spot. To tell a guy that and him to sort of hit the ground running the way his spring training went, the way he's sort of bought into doing whatever they ask him to do, ride it while it's good to ride. That's what I'll say. Because it's probably, I don't want to be that guy, but it may not last long.
Let's go back to the text line. Tony from Kitchener.
Tony.
Kitchener. Text line. Tony's text was, what's the use of replay if they are going to keep getting it wrong? Clement was safe. Again, you have to remember the point of replay is there enough evidence to overturn the call in the field?
Yeah. Maybe those umpires back in New York, when it was such dumbass base running that we're not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. It'd have to be so clear cut to overturn this thing that we just can't do it. I think that's what it was. Looked to me like I even said this when they were showing it from above.
You called him out right away.
That the hand. Yeah. No, I said it. Yeah, I did.
You did. You called it out right
how
away.
Can you tell that they didn't tag his hand?
And I made
that was the hard thing.
I said the same. Or I thought he was safe. But then when Kevin made that point, I thought I can't tell that he didn't tag the hand. And the umpire is saying, I think he tagged the hand. So you've got to be able to present evidence that the hand wasn't tagged.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go with my saying.
I also think that I think replay is working really well in baseball. I have no problem with it.
I wish it was a little quicker. That's all.
Well, it's
make up your mind. What are you waiting on?
Yeah, the thing is, it's a little different. Like, they have this issue in soccer where they're using replay to determine offsides. And soccer, it seems to me, is pretty simple. You draw a line. You know what the offside rule is, and if a part of the dude's body's over the line, it's offside.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer, for some reason in England, they're so forensic. It takes them 5 minutes to come up with something. You have the World Cup or you have other international competitions. It's done in like a minute.
Sure.
It just is. And that's what bothers me is when it gets forensic.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with baseball is it's not like soccer and it's not even like hockey. I mean, think about it. Were you touched on the hand?
Yeah.
You don't get that in other sports.
No.
It's obvious in a lot of times in other sports whether or not something has happened. The only thing I would compare it to is a catch in football, because when it's sometimes hard to determine just on video evidence when a guy actually has his hands under the ball and has possession of the ball. Yeah. And I think that is the closest comparable to baseball. There's just so much that can go into an out call. Guy sliding over a bag, losing contact with the bag, all this stuff. I think it's that to me is why it may take a little longer. But I have no problem with the way replay is. And I originally didn't like the idea of a replay in baseball, but I do now.
I like it like ABS, right? You do it, bang, boom, out. Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you hear a great story? And I cannot remember the name of the San Diego Padre player, but they were talking about it on MLB Network. We saw in spring training that when you want to challenge a call, you touch your helmet.
Yeah.
Right. Which is what they do in the minor leagues as well. The hitter touches his helmet.
Yeah.
Somebody in San Diego, one of the players on a and I can't remember who it was, on a close call, adjusted his helmet.
Yeah.
And the umpire went up to him afterwards and said, "Hey, just to let you know, if you're be careful, because if I think that you're, dumb call."
A tap and an adjust is different.
But I'm just saying, it was players have been warned about that apparently. Don't turn around the umpire and go, tap your hat, tap your helmet. I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny because you get run if you do that. What?
We could have some choice words.
You get run if you do that.
Oh yeah, they would.
So be careful what you do with your.
Can't adjust your hat anymore.
My favorite.
Can't hit a fastball and I can't adjust my hat.
My favorite helmet adjusting story. And Alan Ashby used to be the Jays analyst on the radio. He caught Nolan Ryan, and the Astros figured out that Pete Rose, when he was on second base, would put his right hand, like he was tipping location. He put his right hand on his helmet for one pitch, left-handed helmet for the other pitch. Ashby saw it, trots out to the mound. And Nolan Ryan didn't like anybody coming out to the mound. And he says to Nolan, "Listen, I see Pete at second base. He's doing this." Nolan said, "Just go back. We'll handle it." Next at bat, boom. Pete didn't touch his helmet anymore.
Nolan, that's how you do it.
Nolan nailed him.
Handle it.
Peter in Etobicoke, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
What do you think the Jays and Schneider will do when Varsho's back from the IL? How do you manage this outfield? You know, you see Straw with a great game today, and obviously you have the Santander piece. He's going to be DHing a lot. Like how, and you know, with Springer's bat, you know, he won't be sitting as many games as we thought he would be. You know, at the start of the season, I heard people saying he'd be only starting like half the games this year, but now you can't take him out of the lineup. So what does your outfield look like once Varsho returns, which should be soon?
Yeah. How many games did Santander DH this homestand? How many games did he play in the field of the 7 games?
He played more than he DH'd. How's that?
I was kind of interested in seeing how John Schneider was going to handle that, because when he was with the Orioles, we had Freddie Gonzalez on, who was the Orioles bench coach last year. When he was with the Orioles like to give him a day off on turf here and in Tampa.
Sure,
just to give him a rest.
All right.
Look, I've thought all along that Anthony Santander has to be the everyday DH, but he likes playing in the field. He's one of those guys that likes playing in the field. Listen, I think that when Dalton Varsho gets back, if he's healthy, I think, to me anyhow, it's Varsho in center, Springer in right, and then we figure out left field based on when we want Santander to DH. And, you know, Will Wagner's complicated it a bit because he's not that bad at third base.
No.
Like, I thought the issue was going to be Will Wagner would be incapable of playing third base.
Yeah.
But he would hit. So now we'd be saying, okay, how do you get Will Wagner's bat in the line?
Remember, it's early.
That complicates
it's early, right?
It does, and guys are going to get hurt.
All of this stuff will play out. Well, knock on wood. They won't get hurt.
I mean, somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah,
or they're going to go in a slump.
I mean, Roden can play right. He can play left. Hopefully, doesn't play center. Right. You know, Varsho gets back. He'll take care of defensively.
See, that's why I like Straw, because you can put Straw anywhere.
Catching balls. Yeah, I mean, it's the offensive side, right? They're trying to play the hot hand. They got young guys they called up that made the team. They want to play all the time. They don't care if Straw plays.
And
they
you
just don't.
You've made the point. You like Roden in the corners. He runs good routes.
He does.
He doesn't seem to